Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Ammunation. We're back. It's been several weeks now. I guess it was about 2-3 weeks before we did the Casual AF stream with Irving. And now we're back. Ammunation number 24. Canada Man returns. Mr. Twin, how are you, sir?
Living the dream, bud.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Glad to be back.
I just wanted to catch up with you, find out what's new in your life.
Yeah, no. Same old, same old.
Same old, same old. But I understand you had a big old birthday a short time ago.
Yeah.
Everybody wish Irving Twin a belated happy birthday. It was just this past Monday. He turned 29.
Don't bother. Don't bother. It's not something I accomplished. It just sort of happened.
Well, it's true, right? Hey, but you survived another year. Lots of people can't say that. So there you go. Hey, my good buddy James is in the chat. This is Undecided State. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to James. Where is it here? Boom. Shout out to James. I'll take the ammunition thing down. James is being well taken care of by our wonderful healthcare system. He's going to Trillium Health Center for a very serious bit of surgery, and I just want to wish him well, wish him luck. I know everything's going to go fine. We have top-notch doctors here in Ontario, and I know they're going to take good care of him. But just a shout out to James.
Yeah,
and he
break
says,
a leg.
"Hey, bud." and he said, "Entertain me." We're here to entertain. All right, so what should we talk about, Irving?
Where would you like to start? So much has happened.
It has, and I've been a little bit out of it because I was away in Antigua for a week, then I came back for a week, and then I went away last weekend to go and play Airsoft. Actually, no, it wasn't me. I was there. I was operational support for Canada Man. He was in Virginia in the wastelands. So let's talk a little bit about that. If you've been following, if you follow Twitter at all, Canada Man has made some posts regarding crossing over into another reality where they had a nuclear apocalypse, and he was there to fight villainy and find out what went on. Anyway,
the life of a superhero.
I know. I mean, don't let this get out, but the truth is I'm Canada Man. And I had a great time. Don't mind my hair. But I was even so fortunate as to get Swamp Sniper himself to sign my hat. Swamp Sniper is the guy who runs Ballahack Airsoft. And he has a YouTube channel called Swamp Sniper that he does a lot of airsoft content on. And I got to talk to him for a few minutes. He signed my hat. He signed my gun on the first day, or I think it was the first day. And it was a wonderful time. If you're not into airsoft, you should be, because it's probably the most fun you can have outdoors, getting exercise, and getting injured. No, you don't get injured. Getting welts on your body from little 6mm BBs. Irving, you and I have to go out sometime and play airsoft. I know you're kind of meh about it, but I think you'd have a great time.
No, I'm sure I would too. I just I don't have any airsoft weapons. I'm always concerned that.
I got you covered, pal.
I know you do.
I won the triple bypass lotto. Yeah. So, James, did you? I don't think you've had the surgery yet. Didn't you say you were going in today or Saturday, or is it next week? I can't remember. Went and visited him with another friend of ours. And I don't recall what day he said he was going in for surgery. I'm guessing if he were in today, he probably wouldn't be up in the stream chatting with us, but I could be wrong.
Monday, he says.
Monday, okay. All right, well, there we go. All right, well, I know it's going to go well, James. I will wait for the updates. I will. Do you know what time your surgery is on the Monday? Because I can always call down on Monday after it's done and make sure you're okay. They might not divulge any information to me because I'm not family, but either way, I'd like to know. I'd like to know as soon as I can know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Okay, I want to share a little bit of something. Not yet, but it'll go just fine. Oh yeah, absolutely will. And how many we got watching? We got 2 people watching. Let's make it a third here. There we go. So I want to share something that went on there in Virginia at Ballahack. Let me share my screen. Let me present. You see that? Is it visible?
Yeah.
Canada, man.
Do you mind being in my my
all
mission
for it.
log?
I love it.
All right, I'm here in the wasteland speaking to a longtime resident, Candyman. I'm Canada Man.
We're so close to each other. Canada and candy is so close.
Very close. I made a donation of moose droppings candy for you.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Now, Candyman, I need to tell you about my past. I'm not from this reality.
Oh,
I come from a Canada in a different reality
okay.
where there was no nuclear apocalypse.
Oh, lucky.
Yes, but we're on the brink. Things are very bad in my Canada. And the concern is that we might suffer the same fate as you. Can you tell me, do you have any history of what happened here to bring about the nuclear apocalypse?
It all started when everybody got into Pokemon. And it went downhill from there.
Oh, goodness. And here I thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Was going to be...
I hoped so. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was that's actually the path to salvation.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the path to
If you
salvation?
can find out how to stop the Pokemon. It started when Pokemon Go turned on. That was the Skynet.
You've given me great intel, Candyman. I appreciate your time.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Stop the future.
All right. Candyman, mission log entry.
That's fantastic.
So, so that's the sum total of my recording that I made a few mission logs, but none of them were any good except for the one with Candyman. Oh, and Costin's in the chat. Greetings, wonderful seeming and wonderful adjacent people. And I just got here. I don't understand. I hope things will go well for you. Well, that's nice. Thanks. Yes, I'm sure everything will. You know, like I said, Ontario healthcare is actually, I think it's probably the best in Canada, if I had to guess. But yeah. So that was my was my experience, my mission log from Virginia. Candyman is a guy who's got a YouTube channel called C7 Viper, and he does airsoft content as well, mostly unboxings. Him and his wife will unbox like mystery boxes and stuff.
Right.
But they're such a great team. They're just the most wholesome couple, and they're funny. And anyway, if you're into airsoft, you probably know who C7 Viper is, and you probably know who Candyman is. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had fun, and it seems as though they did too. So
Yeah, I gotta say too, the hot red iridescent lenses in there,
yeah,
spot on. And whatever you've done as filler, that pushes your face just enough to give you the hard fucking superhero lines around the mouth. That's fantastic.
it all comes down to how I trimmed the mask. Actually, the mask used to have a little bit that came down here onto my neck, and that caused the chin to push forward a bit. But I cut that off, so it now fits more snugly to my chin. And then I wore a little red gaiter underneath it, just to sort of I don't know, just to hide the skin, so to speak.
Right.
So, and it seemed to work out. And yeah, I thought it looked really good. And I got, like I said, I got a lot of positive responses from people out there in Virginia. You came from Canada? I'm like, yeah. Well, how long did that take? I'm like, a few hours. I flew. It was like a plane ride to Charlotte and a plane ride from Charlotte to Norfolk. It was, just a few hours. Anyway, Six says, hey, Craig and Irving, swing by to say hi before sleep. All right, Six, thanks for popping in, and you have yourself a great night. And we got to get on Quippers United with Six sometime soon.
Yeah, that's always fun.
He invited me. He said, how about this weekend? I'm like, well, actually, I'm going to be out of the country. So I'll have to coordinate with him again. Jack Penske's Quippers United. Um, so yeah, and you know, one of the things that I found that when I was in Virginia, I stopped and talked to people, like just to say hey, and we started talking about things going on, and of course it turned to Canada, and you wouldn't believe how many people was like, "What the hell's with Justin Trudeau? The guy sounds like a total dick."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I think most Canadians think he's a total dick, but very few people. You'll never know that by the media, and you'll never, hear people say it out loud.
Yeah, it's ridiculous the kind of international attention that we are receiving in not even like a negative, like it's negative, but it's not like this is terrible. It's like, why is it like that? Like,
And
it's just
why all of a sudden, right? Like when
and
you think back to when he was elected in, was it 2015?
initially,
Yeah, it was 2015,
at
wasn't it?
least that far along.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he
at
was
least
elected
that far.
back in 2015. So people were like, "Oh, he's very left. We don't want him as a, because he's going to be really left." But the first few like year or so, he was just your typical liberal party leader. He had the scandals. Okay, we all saw that, but he's just gone like a complete authoritarian since COVID, and he seems completely emboldened to do it. And I guess he's figured that nobody's going to hold him to account. Anytime there's an ethics violation, nothing's going to happen. So he may as well just do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
There's no mechanism in our government or laws to punish corrupt politicians. But there was something I know the man's being a little weird about fucking anonymity on the internet and
Oh,
shit.
Jordan, yeah, yeah.
But Jordan Peterson had said something about the only reason it isn't worse is because the current liberal government is too incompetent to be as tyrannical as it wants to be. That was true 5 and 6 years ago, but they're
Mm.
getting better at it. They're getting much better at it. Very like the learning curve. Yeah,
Six says he's a total dick, a Texan perspective.
yeah.
He is. And this is the thing. I met people from Florida. I met people from Virginia. I met a guy who was from North Carolina. He was on the flight with me to North Carolina. And he was like, "Man, I don't know what's going on there in Canada." And he was all up. He knew what was going on. Like he was aware of what was going on in Canadian politics. And he's like, how do you guys put up with it? I'm like, well, we don't. We don't really. We don't like it. What are we gonna do, right? We don't have an impeachment process. Like I said to him, we don't have an impeachment process. And of course, anytime I said, yeah, I love my country, but I hate my government. And that was, I think, why I got shot so much on the airsoft field. Because people saw me and they immediately thought of Justin Trudeau and how awful Canada is because of him. And they're like, oh, Canada. And I'm like, hey, I hate my government, but I love my country, right? So, and I was in character the whole time, right? So, Swamp Sniper said, what's your battle cry? I'm sorry? I ended up handing him a little packet of jerky because one of the things he does at these events is he collects, people give him beef jerky and he like tabulates it. And he has this little graphic that says beef jerky +1, ching, ching. And he, by the end of it, he probably gets like 600 packets of beef jerky by the end of the whole event. But I gave him like a little one that I picked up at the hotel. And I said, I'm sorry, it's such a small package. And he laughed. He's like, he didn't know how to take me when he first saw me. He's like, what am I looking at? Yes. So yes, James says, emboldened was the right word. It's learned behavior. And the more he's not held to account, the further it'll go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and have you see what's going on in Peru right now?
No, oh, it sounds like I should have heard it, or I did, but it's just more of the same.
Canada Man made a Twitter response to somebody posting about it. So it's a bunch of people in the streets of Peru just like rolling over the cops and saying, no, enough of this shit. Because they're doing very... And Canada Man said, what did Canada Man say? He says, inspiring. That's what he said, inspiring, yeah.
This was every protester that was arrested the protesters kidnapped a cop and they had to have a hostage exchange.
Really? I didn't know
I,
that.
I was like, why does Peru sound like I just heard about something about that? Yeah, it might be Peru.
Yeah, it's insane what's going on around the world, but you don't really hear much about it. And yeah, Parliament is supposed to keep the PM accountable, but the parties are too powerful. Plus, they all walk in lockstep. Like you will never get a liberal basically crossing the aisle and joining a vote with the conservatives or any other party. It doesn't happen. I mean, it has happened in the past, but it's so rare, right? Because people realize that if they change parties, they'll never get voted in again. And at the end of the day, politicians are self-interested, and they got into it as a career choice, and they want to remain in power as long as they possibly can be. But yeah, no, it was surprising that how many people who were active service, who were aware of what was going on, they're like, that's insane. Like they're banning airsoft. Why are they banning airsoft? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't, but they are. So what are you gonna do? So you tell me, Irving, is Canada, is it broken or just cracked?
Oh, it's irreparable
You
as
think it's
far as
irreparable?
I do. Yeah, and
You,
like you've been saying that I hate my government, but I love my country, right? I don't think I love my country anymore. I don't think the people in it understand what it is that they're doing, right? Remember, he's won re-election. I imagine he's going to win again.
yeah, he very well might. He very well might.
And people are just like, "Oh, this is wonderful." Like they're virtue signaling their way into what is going to be one of the worst conditions the nation has ever seen, and there's no convincing them otherwise.
Well, this is the way of tyrannies, right? Like when the Bolsheviks overthrew the Tsar in Russia, they had widespread popular support.
Yeah.
When Hitler came to power in Germany, he had widespread popular support. And and the thing is that people, it's like, what is it? History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Yeah.
People don't think that what they're witnessing is as bad as all that, because while they're witnessing it, it isn't as bad as all that. It's not until they have the hindsight and they realize, holy shit, it did get bad. It got really bad,
Yeah.
and we enabled it. We cheered it on. And I mean, you take a look at what happened to Germany after World War II, and what Germany's like right now. They're a cuck nation. They are to a degree. They basically feel so guilty over what happened in Germany in the Second World War that they've completely stripped their identity and their culture to the point where it's unrecognizable of what it should represent. Germany is a strong, very rich history. But it's like everything that happened up until 1940, whatever, was bad, and it was all we need to do away with it, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think Canada is going to go through the same thing. We're probably going to hit a point where there's going to be, I've said it before, I think there's going to be a French Revolution style uprising at some point. And not necessarily just in Canada either. I think you're going to see it in a lot of countries. But I think eventually people are just going to say enough is enough. And, it's going to be like off with their heads kind of thing. And I don't want to see that. But I don't know what else. Say Polyev gets in. Maybe he rolls back some of the stuff that Trudeau did. Maybe he doesn't. But the problem is the conservatism is a defensive game, right? Your posture is always defensive. You're trying to hold back the push for progressivism. And the push for progressivism right now is absolutely insanity. So what it means is if a conservative government gets in, we're not going to go back to a more reasonable state. We're just not going to be as unreasonable, right? It's just not going to be as insane, right?
It
So
won't get
that's my big
reasonable.
concern.
It's yeah. Trudeau will be in power for a minimum of 12 to 15 years.
You think so?
That's what Costin thinks.
Trudeau will be in power a minimum of 12 to 15. You think so? Eh? Okay, well, it could be. Very well could be. Last premier that was in power close to that long was Chrétien. I think it was 11 years, wasn't he? Chrétien was about 11 years. Yeah. Harper was about 9. I mean, I still believe this. If Trudeau could see himself being made prime minister for life, he would jump at the chance.
Oh yeah,
He
100%.
would jump at the chance. And there's a lot of like things that give an indication that that's something that he may want to do. That I think they're going to evoke a climate crisis that says no, the world's on fire and we need stable leadership indefinitely, and that's why I'm going to be prime minister for the foreseeable future.
Fucking climate crisis.
Yeah, well, that's what it's going to be. That with a global economic crash. Global economic crash and the climate crisis is going to see us move into a much, much more totalitarian life than we're even experiencing now. It's going to be, unrecognizable. And then people will say enough, and then we'll have French Revolution style beheadings and such.
And the beheadings, yeah.
Right. Because, like I've said it before, tyranny is not a stable form of leadership or rule. It's just not. I mean, I know you've said, well, the Soviet Union lasted a good long time, but it was not that stable it wasn't stable the entire time. It was like standing on wooden legs the entire time. They gave the appearance of strength, but all told, it was not a very stable system.
No, sure, but
it can still visit misery on people. It doesn't matter how stable it is. If the ruling class is inclined to oppress its people and do all sorts of terrible things to them, they will. So, and that's the other thing with what Jordan Peterson says. The only thing, they're so incompetent they could never be the dictators that they really want to be. The problem is that they're going to try. Even if they're incompetent, they have the will to do it. And in exercising that will, they're going to visit untold misery on everybody. And it's the misery that we want to try to avoid, right? So you think it's broken? Irreparable, you said, right? It's like broken into a million pieces.
Yeah.
Like you all the crazy glue in the world couldn't put it back together.
Well, I mean, it's been broken for a long time, right? Like, I was just talking to somebody at work. I told him he's got to start his own YouTube channel, and then we'll have him as a guest because it was very, very pleasant, informative kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling me about a guy. This happened, I think, back in 2019, he was saying. I don't know the details, but it's in Canada. He and his wife are in bed. His kids are in bed. Someone breaks into his house. He gets his shotgun, goes to confront the guy, points the shotgun at him, tells him, stop, don't move. The guy reaches for something, so he unloads, right? Kills the guy. The guy did have a knife, and apparently was not frightened by the gun, right? And was going for his fucking knife. This guy who shot the intruder in his home has to spend 4 years in prison. He was sentenced, I think, earlier this month.
That's insane.
You do not have a right to your own life in this country.
Yeah, that's insane. I would. I'm assuming that his lawyers are going to appeal it.
I would hope, but like, is Canada it's that has been something that could have happened to you for the past like 25, 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with that kind of approach to, a criminal activity like a break-in, or that approach to justice, I guess you'd say. So you'll get what's going to happen is now when you get home invasions and people shoot the intruder, they're just going to hide it. They're going to bury the body.
So you have cop relatives and friends, right?
I do? Yeah.
I have cop relatives and friends. I am told if something ever happens in your home and you shoot somebody who's broken into your home,
Yep.
3 S's: shoot, shovel, shut up.
There
Just
you go.
just bury the body and don't ever fucking say anything, because it is not worth the trouble.
See, my question is like, where are the cops that are saying, we're not going to arrest you? Like, they're being told by a district attorney, we want charges brought against this person for discharging a firearm and ending the life of somebody who meant him and his family harm. Where are the cops saying, I'm not going to do that? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know what the Constitution says in terms of you have a right to security of person, right, in this country?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's
like-
Section 7.
Yeah,
The right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof, etc.
right, right. So, all things being equal, in a situation like that, your right to life, you're responsible for protecting that. And your security of person, you're responsible for providing that in that situation, because cops aren't there, right? Cops can't be there when the crime is happening. So
Well,
that security of person the responsibility has to fall to you.
I'm sorry, Craig.
Why are you sorry? Because you're having a drink? What do you got tonight?
This is just the Wiser's special blend.
Nice.
It's literally the cheapest one. And like I told you before, I didn't stop drinking. I just altered my habits. See that? That's all
It's
I
a
got.
Mickey, not a 26er or a 40.
That's right. It's half a fifth. So instead of getting 3/4 of the way into a fifth, while we're end up going 3 hours by accident because the stream was going so well, I just run out.
There you go.
Yeah.
All good.
But-
Okay, we've got a few
sorry.
comments. So Costin says he would start on Craig's predicted path by pushing the 5th year. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 5 years anyway, right?
Yeah.
Remember, per the Constitution, the term is up to 5 years. Yep. They don't arrest you. Someone else will. No, exactly. You're right. So the cops who say, I refuse.
Yeah.
No, other cops say, yeah, fuck, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I happen to align with this particular political worldview.
And like we're looking at the rights, like our Constitution, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Way down in Section 7, you have a right to life and a right to security of the person. But now we have to reference Section 1, the ability of the government to override your rights, to put so-called reasonable limits on your rights.
Now,
Right.
Peckford would say those reasonable limits are not based on a whim of the current government. They have to be made argued as reasonable. You can't just say this is a reasonable limit. You can't use a firearm that you legally own, you legally acquired, and you're licensed to hold to defend your home or your family or yourself. That's a reasonable limit.
And Viva Fry, Montreal lawyer turned YouTuber, right? We know him. He would say that it is a 3-pronged argument. You have to hit all 3 prongs to infringe on the rights, which is, 1, it's a reasonable limit. 2 is that it is in fact prescribed by law, so it's gone through both houses and received assent. And 3 is demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society.
Right.
None of the infringements on our rights have ever met all 3 prongs.
No.
You can't. It
No.
can't be done. It's either a right or it isn't.
Right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's the notwithstanding clause, is it not?
What do you mean?
That
No.
the Section 1 that allows them to supersede?
No. There's a whole other thing called the notwithstanding clause, which
Right,
means
okay.
without any of this, we can just pass the law anyway or create a mandate, and if you don't like it, vote us out.
Yeah.
Right? So that's actually separate. But this somehow, and most of the people in the country seem to believe that it is absolutely perfectly reasonable to limit your right to life.
Hell, not just limit your right to life, but encourage that you end it.
Well, shit. Don't get me started on me.
Now, James is in the chat. I assume he's still in the chat. James, don't take offense to this.
I've been trying real hard not to be a dick
But
about it.
Irving made a joke. I'm surprised that they opted for the triple bypass. I'm surprised they didn't just say, maybe you should kill yourself. Because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I think James and I might have talked about it. But they're really going whole hog on this. You've got a medical condition that's particularly expensive for us to treat, or you're depressed. Well, we can help you kill yourself. Oh, you want a chairlift? Yeah, you represented us at the Paralympic Games, and I think you won gold. And you were a veteran of our armed forces. And you want a chairlift? Well, maybe you should just kill yourself.
This is the worst part about that, is she was injured in the line of duty serving the country, then won
Yeah.
a medal in the Special Olympics.
Not the Special Olympics, the Paralympics.
Whatever. In the Paralympics.
She didn't get retarded. She lost the use of her legs, man.
Sorry. Like the Cripple Olympics. You know what I'm talking about.
The Cripplympics. Sorry, that's terrible. Anyway, yes, okay.
But the injury was, she received the injury serving her country. And now they're like, what, stair lift? Or like wheelchair lift? No, just die.
Yeah, just die.
Maybe you should have died in the field like a real soldier.
Oh, wow, that's fucking harsh. Yeah, but it sounds like, why couldn't you have just died in Afghanistan? Like, make our lives a lot easier. Yeah, and the reptilian responses from some people, like people in the health ministry, talking about how MAID is going to save the health industry or our health system, millions upon millions of dollars. Like, is that how you view it? So it's a matter of economics. Okay. Bright side of all this, for guys like you and me who are constantly arguing in favor of a two-tier system or the end of a socialized medical system altogether, when people say, well, I'm just happy that if I get really sick, I'm being taken care of and I don't have to worry about paying out of pocket or going broke because of it. No, you just have to worry about the government saying, we've decided we won't treat you, but here are some options on how you might kill yourself. It's a callous argument, but it's reality now. And the worst part about it is this, was it Bill? I want to say it's 134 or 137 or something like that. There's a new bill that's going to amend the euthanasia laws in Canada that will allow for youngsters to seek medical assistance in dying, and the parents won't even be notified of it until after the child is dead.
Mature minors, 14 to 17 years old?
14 to 17 years old, yeah. That point in your life when you hit 17, you realize that your whole life ahead of you is shit, and you're never going to make anything of yourself. That's the time to decide to die. Yeah. Tell me somebody who's been 17 and hasn't been depressed or worried about their future. And you think the answer is, hey, maybe we'll give you some pills. You can just go into a quiet place somewhere and just pop these fucking pills. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening to think that this is what, is happening at an official level in our country.
And I know a lot of times I can come off as black-pilled, and sometimes I just truly believe I am completely black-pilled. This is one thing that is starting to get the normies' attention. Even the normies who are like, our healthcare system is great, isn't it wonderful? Right? And you tell them details about this, and they're like, yeah, that's fucked up, right?
Or they'll just say, that's not true. That's the problem. A lot of them will just say, I don't believe that.
Yeah, that happens too. But if they do believe it, if they're the ones that read it and thought, does this happen at work today? He thought it was a joke that the former vet who was injured in the line of duty won a medal in the Paralympics and wanted a stair lift and was told, why don't you just die? when I told him, yeah, this is the logical end state of a taxpayer-funded single-payer healthcare system. We could never afford it. We borrowed against the future for not decades, for generations, and now we can't fucking foot the bill anymore. The interest rates are going up. We cannot foot the bill. We just have to start killing people. He's like, yeah, no, I know. So there's that little bit of white pill for me that someone who is very pro healthcare is like, yeah, we can't do this forever. Right, the bill
So
comes due.
I'm wondering, like, I don't follow a lot of the protest movements in Canada and Ontario or whatever, but my thought is that the next step is there's going to be a widespread protest either at Queen's Park or in Ottawa regarding MAID, and I'm wondering if Irving, you want to go with Canada Man?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Canada Man's gonna get dressed up and go up on a stage and shout about it.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's the only way to get attention. Because if it's just some random schmuck with a maple leaf on his hat, it means nothing. But if it's a guy dressed as a superhero, cameras are going to point that way and they're going to listen to what he has to say. So,
We'll have to write you a speech.
yep. And I'll have to commit it to memory because I don't want to have to refer to it.
No, not with those super cool lenses. You don't want to have to try and
Exactly.
read.
Yeah, because they fogged up like crazy. That was the one thing. When I was down there, that mask was probably the worst mask to wear because it was latex rubber, and then I had those glasses that were like protective lenses wearing them underneath, just like a pair of glasses with a mask over top, right? They're pressed up right against my eyes, and I was sweating so bad that I had to like basically leave the field and defog every like hour or so. It was nuts. But anyway,
So there are sprays for that, but better than any spray, just keep a white candle. Mark
oh,
the inside and the outside and smear it till it's thin. And yeah, no
I've heard
fog.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've also heard soap, like bar soap.
To a lesser degree, because the moisture activates the soap and eventually comes
True.
off. The wax will stay till you clean it off.
Uh, James says, "Boy, you sure are filling me with hope for my outcome on Monday." LMAO. Oops, he just didn't wake up. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it'll be subterfuge. They're going to treat you as best they can. James, you got to understand, you're a young man who wants to live. You haven't shown any indication that you want to die.
You're a young,
I'm kind of depressed. Oh, really?
you're a young man who has many years to contribute 60 cents of every dollar you ever make back to the coffers. So
There you go.
it's very
There you
possible. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why a Candyman party income tax will be repealed. I put Candyman party the Candyman party platform on Candyman's Twitter feed a while back.
I saw some of it. Yeah.
Annex Turks and Caicos. And
Mandatory vacations.
and daylight savings. Change our money from a fiat system to one backed by maple syrup. And
That might actually work. Eh?
I know it sounds like a joke, but it's legit. And abolish income tax. I think that's a winning platform. I tell you what.
You know, a barrel of maple syrup sells for 60 to 90 times what a barrel of crude oil does.
You know what? It's what we should bet, and it's perfect because it's a finite resource. It depends on the ecology of our country. It depends on good management of our maple trees, and it's a what do you call it? It's a resource that not everybody can have, right? You can find oil all over the planet. Maple trees only grow in specific areas, and there are people all over the world who can't get maple syrup. So, yeah, I think it's seasonal, right? So we're going to have peaks and valleys in the supply, which will regulate inflation and deflation. But
Oh no, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, you're making me want to love my country again. Canada has a global strategic maple syrup reserve. 15 million barrels are always kept. We have a thriving maple syrup black market.
Yeah, that's true. We do too.
Illegal maple syrup makes it to boats to be shipped overseas.
And the cool thing is about a maple syrup backed dollar is that anybody can get into it. All you have to do is plant some maple trees. Plant some maple trees, let them mature, and start tapping them. And yeah, okay, you got to collect 40 liters to get 1 liter of maple syrup. But, you know, there's no reason why you can't do it year over year over year. Build yourself a nice little maple syrup nest egg.
90%
It's not like
of
the
all
shit
the
expires. I don't think it expires, does it?
No.
Because it's like sugar.
Yeah.
It's just refined liquid
it
sugar.
lasts forever.
Yeah.
Right?
So
At worst, if you had like a crack in the top of your barrel, you might have a coating of some kind of fungus. But you
Yeah,
can literally just
scrape it
peel
off.
it off, and all the syrup underneath is good.
yeah.
Yeah, like
No, I'm for this. I think it's a good idea. Plus, can you imagine the heads that would fucking explode when they found out that Canada's economy was backed by maple syrup?
it's literally backed by maple syrup anyway. And
No, but you know what I mean? Like the dollar. The dollar was based on maple syrup.
you're wearing the fucking leaf on your head. This is why it's on the flag, because the maple tree and maple syrup has been one of the most important things in this country since people got here.
Yep, it's true. You know what? I have a feeling if they hadn't hunted the beaver to almost extinction way back when, trapped the beaver to near extinction way back when, it might be a beaver up here. But the beaver population bounced back. It's doing fine now. But there was a time, like in the early days of the settlement of Canada, where the beaver population was almost completely obliterated.
Sticky syrup mafia.
Sticky syrup. Exactly. No, yeah, so that's the Canada platform. I think I want to make a website about the Canada Man Party. I keep referencing it on Twitter. I think I'm going to do it. Like I
Now you can
need
give them
to.
a link.
What's that?
Now you can give people a link to the,
There you
the
go.
website with the
Yeah,
Canada
join
Man
the
Party.
Canada Man Party, and if I, become a member, your $10 donation will get you a T-shirt with Canada Man's, beautiful face emblazoned on the front.
Oh, and you can have a PSA.
Yeah,
Remember, communists aren't people.
that's right. Oh fuck, that was funny.
Canada Man says, "Don't fuck dogs."
Don't fuck dogs. What else do you want to talk about here?
Oh wait, before we
Move
change
on.
this banner, so a while ago, before you migrated away from Twitter for a while, anytime Justin Trudeau would post something and you saw it, you would just reply, "Resign."
That's right.
While you had gone on hiatus, I took it upon myself to carry on that tradition, and
Okay.
every time wrote "resign." Then you came back,
Yeah.
all right? And after a while, I wasn't doing it anymore. You were there. If you want to do it, you do it. But now, every time I see something across my Twitter feed from Justin Trudeau, I reply, "Consider made."
That's awesome. Consider made. Yeah, because technically you're not saying kill yourself.
Nope.
And
Nope.
the fact of the matter is, the government's doing that to Canadian citizens. So
If the government can offer it to citizens, why can't citizens offer it to the government?
I agree. I completely agree. I'm on board. Yeah, no, we need a complete upset in our government. We need something completely fresh and new. I was hoping that Maxime Bernier, I mean, maybe it'll take him a while, but he'll make gains. But will he ever become prime minister? I don't know. I think it'd be better if Canada Man became prime minister.
Definitely.
Because I would wear that costume on the floor
Yes.
of the House of Commons.
Yes. I know.
Goddamn right I would. So if you want to join the Canada Man Party and become a candidate in your riding, there's only one criteria. That is, you have to be legally able to run as a candidate in Canada. And I guess the other criteria is, there's two criteria. The other criteria is, as you campaign, you must wear a superhero suit in the tradition of Canada Man, which employs the colors red, white, and black. And you can put a little bit of gray in there if you want to. That's it. You have to campaign in costume. And yeah, If you're willing to do that, I don't care your age, your ethnic background, your gender, none of it. I don't care. As long as you wear the costume and you campaign on the ideals of the Candyman Party, you can be part of the Candyman Party.
Oh, I would like to suggest a third criterion.
What's that?
Occasionally, you must post pictures of yourself on 4chan. User's choice for board.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, do that. Do that. Candyman posts on R9K. So I was watching a YouTube video about, there was, I guess, this this meme that was going on R9K where people were trying to convince, R9K is a board devoted to basically people who have decided to sign out of reality. It's like young men who said, fuck it, I'm not going to try and, get a career, win a girl, none of that stuff. They're just, I'll sit in my room and play video games and I'll piss and shit in a jar. This is the R9K contingent. So people started posting this thing on there. Why aren't you a trap? Why don't you dress up like a hot femme girl or whatever? And, because then you'll get dates because the lonely people who want to date you will, they don't care that you have a dick. So there was a meme going that says, why aren't you a trap yet, Anon? So I made a post as Candyman, why aren't you a superhero yet, Anon? Anyway, that's my funny memes.
Robot 9000.
Yep, R9K. I like what you posted. So it turns out Candyman likes R9K. What are your 3 favorite 4chan boards?
Everybody's got 3, right?
It's true. It's true. What did I put? Pol, Co, and
X. No, not X.
Yeah, I think it was X.
Yeah.
I think it was X. Candyman's were Pol, CGL, which is cosplay,
Obviously.
and K, which is weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, guys. This is all about Candyman. I didn't mean to make it all about Candyman. Yeah, so, I mean, trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about MAID. Medical assistance in dying. Okay, I will say this. I told my wife about it, and she didn't believe it. She was like, what? Why are they doing that? I'm like, well, you'll call me crazy, hon, but it's about depopulating the country and filling it up with immigrants who they can basically turn into serfs. See, they want middle class and, upper middle class people to die off so they can replace them with people who are 100% dependent on the government. And they can turn them into slaves. This is the whole point of the 500,000 people a year immigrating into the country. MAID is all part of it. It's a depopulation and population replacement agenda. That's all it is. She's like, ugh. And then she went back to watching, I don't know, whatever, puppy dog videos or something on YouTube. I don't know. TikToks. I have no idea. We don't share the same interests in media. There's a few TV shows we like to watch, but other than that, we don't share. James says, heading out for the night. Thanks for all the well wishes, and I'll catch the rest of the show when it's up. A funny show so far. Thanks, James. And you get some rest. Do everything your nurses and your doctors tell you, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, buddy? Take care.
Cheers. Break a leg.
Let's move on, I think.
Yeah, what else we got?
I want to talk about the Twitter files. Have you been following what's been going on the Twitters?
Not really, because the basic gist I got was everything that everyone was accusing Twitter of doing over the past several years has all been true. That's basically what the Twitter files have said.
I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, all these people who are on, like Tim Pool, people like that are coming out saying, you're talking like this is some huge revelation. And I'm like, dude, you've known this for years, and I've known this for years. This is not surprising to me. I mean, it's nice to finally see it officially in print and coming out and being exposed, but we knew this was happening.
Yeah, and I mean, we know it's been happening on Facebook. We know it's been happening on YouTube, right? Like,
But the fact that guys like Jack Dorsey got up before Congress is to know we don't shadow ban people. I mean, lying to Congress is a crime, right? So now, do I want Jack Dorsey prosecuted? Not necessarily, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, they've tried to get people on so much less. So it'd be nice to see, some people walk, do the perp walk. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
The most recent one is the FBI. The FBI basically they had a way to basically make posts that just bypass moderation altogether. They basically had their own little section of Twitter, like a portal where they could go in and just, boom, push stuff on there, push it up in the ranks. They could, what do you call it? Not delist, but basically downrank things that they didn't want. Like, governments had this portal for years, apparently.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we knew that. Like,
It's I mean, I don't know. It's like they don't care. They don't care that they're in violation of the foundational document that they have been sworn to uphold.
no, like there are no conspiracy theorists. There are only spoiler alertists.
Yeah. I prefer the term conspiracy analyst. Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, French Revolution when, Irving?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Well, you know what? Drink some coffee, get yourself a sword, and let's go.
Come the zombie apocalypse or the French Revolution, whatever. Come to my house. I don't just have a sword. I have swords for everybody.
There you go. Just like I've got airsoft guns for everybody.
Yeah.
What's going on in the chat? Nothing. We've got a handful of people watching now. Thanks everyone for coming by. Please post something in the chat so we have something else to talk about. There's got to be something new that we need to talk about. Something in the news. I haven't really been keeping up on it because I've been focused on my little jaunts all over the globe.
Well, it's not new in the news, but it's new to someone at work. Again, having this strange conversation out of nowhere with people at work. Oh, we had started talking about it because they were talking about the hostage exchange between U.S.
Oh, right.
and Russia.
Right.
And I said, "Oh, have you seen Lord of War?" And he says, "Yeah." I was like, "That's the guy." He's like, "Ha ha ha! No, literally, that's the guy."
Yeah.
Right? He's like, "Really?" Yeah, like that's him. That's his story in Lord of War. Nicolas Cage is playing that guy they just traded.
Toronto's evil. Yep.
Yeah.
Toronto is evil.
Sorry.
He's not Toronto. He's not all of Toronto.
But the convoy protest had come up.
Yeah.
And he was saying, "Oh yeah, one of the women that was organized, she got into some trouble, right? Oh, Tamara Litch. Yeah. She was in prison for like 6 months or something." He was like, "Oh, what did they get her on? Mischief. What? Mischief? 6 months? Yeah, mischief, no bail. How did they do that?
It's a mischief.
She was
mischief.
a political prisoner.
Yeah.
This is not a free country. That's what I've been trying to tell you."
Yeah, it's not a free country because mischief is a what do you call it? It's
Misdemeanor.
not an indictable offense. It's a summary conviction. You get charged with mischief. You get cited. You get a ticket. You can fight it in court, or you can just go and pay your ticket. That's mischief. And for them to say, no, we're going to lock you up, you got to come up with something better than that. This isn't fucking Singapore.
No, they don't have to come up with something better than that because she's a political prisoner and we don't live in a free fucking country.
No, but the point is, like, we still have the charter. We still have the criminal code. If she has a good enough lawyer who's willing to take it to court, They could fight the government on it. Now, it's kind of stupid that you have to use your money to fight a government that uses your money to fight you. But that's the way it is. And the point is they violated her charter rights by arresting her in the first place for mischief. They should have just cited her. They should have just given her a ticket. This is criminal mischief. $750 fine, whatever it is. Here's your court date.
Remember how GoFundMe, at the request of the government, froze the GoFundMe? So they switched over to Give, Send, Go and quickly raised almost the same amount of money?
Yeah.
GoFundMe has still not returned the money to donators.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lawsuit there, right?
Well, there could be, except that the government lawyer is saying, oh, well, we have to consider what to do with that money, like vis-a-vis the citizens of Ottawa who were negatively affected. Are you fucking kidding me? It's not your money. Either it goes to the cause to which it was donated or it goes back to the donator.
Exactly.
The donor. Sorry, donator.
Donationers.
Donationeers. But like, what do you mean? It's not your money.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Government thinks it's all their money.
Yeah.
Even a municipal government like Ottawa. Ottawa is like Clausen says Toronto's evil. After watching the POEC, I was like, Ottawa is full of a bunch of cocksuckers. They are all elitist snob assholes. And as much as I love visiting the city, I couldn't stand living there. I couldn't stand living amongst people like that. Who think that they are cream of the fucking crop because they live in the nation's capital.
Yeah, it's even worse, I would say, than DC.
Yeah, I would say you're right.
You know why? Because the capital of the United States has real fucking power.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Justin Trudeau has decided to exert power that he doesn't really have, so in a sense, he's got real power too. It's not real power in the sense that it's official. It's real power in the sense that he's got the will to use powers that aren't afforded to him based on our judicial system, based on our political system. But he's a dictator. He's a tyrant. So what do you expect?
Oh my God. Okay, so here's something. Jagmeet Singh.
I know what you're going to talk about, but go ahead.
Yes. Stands up in the House of Commons and says, when I'm Prime Minister, and the whole House breaks out into laughter.
I know, they're laughing for like a full minute.
Until the Speaker says, order.
That's fucking
and like
hilarious.
the look on Jagmeet's face was fucking priceless, man. Oh, so good.
Did you happen to catch this little bit of House of Commons drama that happened? Was it earlier this week or last week? Raquel Dancho. Do you know Raquel Dancho?
Ah, Mommy Dancho, yeah, she's so fucking hot.
She's a cutie, not gonna lie. So she called, I want to say it was Marco Mendocino,
A liar?
a liar, and the House, the sort of the Speaker of the House
Had her
said,
removed.
"Yeah, do you want to withdraw a statement?" She says, "Already withdrawn." And apologize. No, I'm not apologizing. So I can do this all day. She said, I'm not going to apologize. So he ejected her. And I thought, wait, why? Because she called him a liar? Is that considered unbecoming behavior of the House of Commons? So calling someone a liar when they're clearly lying is unbecoming of members of the House. But lying in the House is A-okay. No worries. Politicians are expected to lie, especially to other politicians, and especially in a public forum that is recorded for, historical record. They're expected to. But they're not expected to call out the lying.
Look, if they believed it, if they believed that she was wrong, instead of having her thrown out, Mendocino would have just challenged her to say it outside the house.
Yeah,
Because you have a privilege inside the house. You can say all kinds of things inside the house. But
right.
as soon as you leave the house and say it to the fucking presser,
Yeah,
now you can be sued for libel or slander, right?
or what have
So,
you.
yeah, they would dare you to go out and say it then if you think that, right? But they didn't. They just removed her.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and I mean, I've said this about the House of Commons question period before. It's a fucking dog and pony show. It makes no difference. It doesn't do anything apart from create YouTube clips. At the end of the day, they're going to vote, and those votes are going to go along party lines, and they're going to go along coalition agreements or what have you. So, question period is a complete waste of taxpayer money. It's a complete waste of time. And if you really want to have a valid question period, it should be open to the public to come and question the members on the floor and get them on record saying to the faces of their constituents what they want to say. And nobody should be barred from calling another member a liar, especially when it's clear that they're liars. I can understand not using profanity in the House because you want a sense of decorum. But if somebody on the other side is saying something that's false, how do you hold them up for that? Can you say that's completely false? And everybody here knows you've just spoken untruth? Nope, that's calling them a liar. So, I don't know. I don't know how you, like, what is the point? What is the point in having a debate if you can't call out falsehoods? If you can't say that's erroneous?
Now all I'm thinking of is Mark Garrettson and that curly-haired round lady who was talking about guns. Do you remember that one?
She said a 22 gauge?
22. Yes, my 22 gauge rifle.
Will take down a moose or a bear.
For moose or black bear, yeah.
22.
22 gauge.
22 gauge, not 22 caliber.
Yeah.
22 gauge. Last I checked, they didn't make 22 gauge shotgun shells.
It's my 22-06. Right.
That's like, one tiny moose. That's one tiny moose. Is that like a chocolate moose? Maybe you could do it with you could kill a chocolate moose with a 22 gauge.
People don't know this, but like the hide and fur of a moose are kind of like Kevlar.
Yeah, well, they're so fucking big.
Yeah, not only forget trying to penetrate a breastplate. The hide is like so rubber. Yeah. Right? And the fur also is ridiculously stringy and like knotted together, and it's an armor of itself.
Yeah.
Okay. A 22, unless you walk up to the moose and put it right in it, you're not going to break the fucking skin.
Yeah. You got to go in the ear. Shoot it in the ear, and maybe you'll kill it. And don't get that close to a moose; you'll die.
Yeah.
No, people are stupid. People, and the worst part is the people who are crafting legislation that pertains to firearms don't know the first fucking thing about firearms.
Okay. Bears. My buddy taught up north multiple reserves for a decade. One of the reserves, middle of winter, the local cop, is getting calls that there is a polar bear just walking around the reserve. Okay. So he goes to where some people are, and they're like, "Oh, there's a bear." He's like, "Yeah, no, I know. I took care of it." And they're looking. "Where's your rifle?" "Oh, no, just my revolver. Like, I just stumbled across him, and I just shot him in the face." They're like, that bear's not dead. You knocked the bear out, but he's not dead. He's going to wake up pissed, and he's going to start tearing. And they were right.
Yeah.
Right? Because people up there know. And yeah, his fucking like 357 revolver didn't fucking kill the bear. He shot it in the face.
Yeah, if he shot it from any distance, I could agree with that. If you got close enough, you could probably kill it.
How the fuck close are you gonna get to a polar bear?
Yeah, you don't want to get largest land predator is the polar bear. People say, "Oh no, grizzlies are bigger." Polar bear is bigger than grizzly.
Yeah.
It's misleading though, because polar bear is long, so when it stands on its hindquarters, it's taller than a grizzly. It doesn't look as bulky as a grizzly, but it's larger than a grizzly.
Yeah, like they can stand like 9 feet tall.
Yeah, they're crazy big.
Yeah.
But they do say, if you're going to be going out in the wilderness hiking or what have you, you should be like, the only people licensed to carry handguns in Canada are people who work in the wilderness. And the specific reason is they might have to kill a bear. And it's not easy to like do the type of work, like whether you're a surveyor who wanders through the brush or whatever.
Or just a park ranger.
Or a park ranger. It's not always easy to shoulder a rifle if you come across a bear, because you might come across one and it's 10 feet away from you or 30 feet away from you. So a handgun. Plus, it's easier to move around in the brush with a handgun on your hip than it is with a rifle on your shoulder. So they say carry a handgun, and it should be at least a 44 Magnum, because that's really all you're going to be able to use to take down a bear.
And strange thing, people don't often think about this. Black bear at 300 odd pounds, right up to grizzlies and Kodiaks in 1,200, 1,300 pound range.
Yeah.
Don't make any fucking noise walking.
No.
You better hope it grunted at something, otherwise you won't hear it. Like they got the padding in their feet, and you'd think it would shake the fucking ground when it walks, and it doesn't. It doesn't make a fucking, doesn't rustle the grass, for fuck's sake.
No, because they're predators. They've evolved to be able to, and the thing is, they're not like a predator that chases down prey. They're ambush predators. They're opportunity predators. They're like a gator, right? Gators move slow. They can run pretty quick if they have to, or if they're inclined to. But typically, if you're walking alone at night in Florida near some water, you don't have to worry about being chased by a gator. You have to worry about one jumping out from the water and biting and pulling you in. They're ambush predators, right? Same goes for a bear. They're not going to run you down. They might. If you run, they'll chase you.
Oh, and they can. Like, don't underestimate. They can run. Roly-poly motherfucker can run.
Yeah, if you ever encounter a bear in the wilderness, or you just come upon one, don't shout, don't scream. They might not have known you're there. If you shout and scream, they can see that as an act of aggression, and they'll challenge you. You should just talk at a normal volume, wave your arms, and try and make yourself look as big as possible. And don't turn and run. Hold your ground and slowly back away sideways. And don't take your eyes off of it. If you turn, it'll chase you. There's your survival tip from Craig.
Most bears can climb faster than they can run, so don't bother trying to get up a tree.
No.
And if you can find a downhill, take it.
Yeah.
They're too like bottom heavy. They don't go downhill real well.
No. And don't play dead if you encounter a black bear, because black bears are known carrion eaters, and they'll eat a dead thing. A grizzly bear, if you play dead, you've got better chance. But if you do, lie on your stomach and cover your neck. And if you have a backpack, make sure you better have it on, because it'll tear through the backpack before it'll tear through you.
Yeah.
And if black bears sometimes will try and turn you over, so splay your legs apart. So, because they'll turn you over and go for your guts. But
that's where the liver is.
It's tasty.
Yeah.
Full of iron.
How did we get here?
Oh, we were talking about guns.
Okay.
Started talking about 22 gauge.
22 gauge.
My 22 gauge? You mean your 20 gauge?
Nope.
22 gauge? You mean 22 caliber?
But these are
my 22 gauge.
But these are the people that want to tell you you're not allowed to. They don't know the first fucking thing. Like, I am by no means an expert, and I'm looking at that lady like, are you fucking retarded, bitch? Like, what?
there's a good chance C-21 is going to be dead on arrival. Maybe not all of it, but it's going back to review because of these last minute amendments they put in. And there's a good chance, based on what people are saying who are in on the committees and the discussions about it, that the airsoft provisions in C-21, they're probably going to be nixed or completely amended before it finally passes.
Oh, but this was what Dancho was calling them liars about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're lying. You're not... Yeah. Well, I think what she called them liars about is because they said, "Oh no, we conferred with the conservatives about having more interviews," and they didn't. And she just said, "No, you fucking didn't. You bring this letter in at the 11th hour to the House of Commons about how you're going to have these 2 more interviews with 2 more witnesses. That's not enough. You need witnesses from all over Canada, Indigenous included, who make their living using rifles, who use them for survival, use them for hunting, who use them as part of animal control on their farms, and use them for survival." Which is something they never did. They interviewed people who lived in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. People who never use firearms in their day-to-day lives. So,
isn't one of the types that is ready that they want to ban semi-automatic rifles? Any semi-automatic rifle designed to receive a magazine that can hold more than 5 rounds.
Correct.
So
basically, it's not the magazine that they want to ban. They want to ban a rifle that could conceivably hold a magazine that has more than 5 rounds in it. So rather than just say all magazines must be restricted to 5 rounds, which is fine.
That's already
which is already the case, yeah. Because you have to have a magazine that's pinned at 5 rounds.
Yeah.
They want to make it so if the rifle could conceivably receive more than 5 rounds, a magazine with more than 5 rounds, so a 20-round mag, 30-round mag, whatever, that rifle is banned. Well, the problem is that receivers are universal, right? In the same way that plugs are universal, like USBs and such, because there's a variety of devices that can be plugged in. So when they design receivers of firearms to take a specific caliber, they design it to take a magazine that will hold as much as that magazine is designed to hold.
Yeah, anyone can build a magazine that holds 1,000 rounds, you know, and turns in a great big circle a few times or whatever.
Sure.
Right? And it'll plug in. So if your gun can plug that in, well, your gun is now illegal, which means everyone's limited to bolt action.
Yeah.
So
as long as the magazine in the bolt action holds less than 5 rounds. No, it's insane. It's like they don't understand how guns work. Like the magazine, the receiver is designed to take a specific type of cartridge. Okay, the magazine is irrelevant. It's designed to take a specific type of cartridge, and those cartridges fit into a magazine.
So this is why I was seeing people post pictures from inside their house. They're taking a picture of the cougar that just wandered onto their property, and it's like, okay, so you're telling me if this cougar wanders onto my property and I miss with my first round bolt action, right? I've got a bolt before, like, that cougar can cross that's 30 feet before I can clear the fucking chamber, right?
Now, the good thing is that a cougar, if it hears a gunshot, will probably run the other way. But if it's hungry enough, or it's rabid, or it feels its cubs are threatened, it might just ignore the gunshot and realize, hey, there's food in that direction where that sound came from. But no, it's stupid. I mean, you can cycle a bolt pretty quick. The problem is you've got to now take aim again, right? The beauty of having a magazine-fed firearm is that you don't generally lose your sight picture between shots. It stays roughly the same. When you cycle a bolt, you have to aim again because the entire gun moves when you cycle a bolt. Unless it's a really smooth bolt action, like super smooth, and there's no tension anywhere. Most times you have to refocus everything. But
Call me crazy. Savage Arms. Like, I really love the Savage Arms bolt. Like, it is very, very smooth, okay? I know that might be like a meme brand or whatever, but I think they do a great job with their bolts.
Savage Arms make good guns. They do. Savage Arms make great guns. My particular favorite is the AR-7. The AR-7 was designed as a collapsible survival 22 semi-automatic rifle, and it was designed for pilots. It goes
Like
into
pilot.
a plastic stock, and if that plastic stock with all the accoutrements, the magazine, the receiver, the barrel, if that plastic stock falls in the water, it floats.
Clever.
It's
So
a really
push
smart
pilot-
design. Yeah, it's a really smart design. And it's a semi-automatic. That's the thing. You look at it, it looks like a toy, but it fires 22 caliber, 22 long rifle, and it's semi-automatic. You put the magazine in, you rack it once, and bang, 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 bang. I think it holds 12 rounds or something like that. See, that's the thing. Rimfire cartridges in Canada, you can have as much as the magazine will hold. There's no restrictions on those. So it's center fire that they want to make more stupid.
For some fucking reason.
Now, here's the dumb thing with regards to the airsoft thing with C-21. So, airsoft replicas that are modeled after or resemble a firearm that can take a magazine that holds more than 5 rounds are prohibited devices. Yep. So, not only is the AR-15 banned, but the AR-15 or the M4 airsoft rifle is banned. So it's basically space guns. You can have space guns because they're not modeled after an existing platform.
Pretty soon it's going to be like, drawing semi-automatic weapons in class is going to be illegal.
Yeah.
Like
probably.
just doodling one in the margins of your notebook. No, that's
Did you not ever hear about these kids who basically, one kid got suspended from school because he had a piece of toast, like bread or whatever.
It wasn't a Pop-Tart?
Pop-Tart, that's right. And I guess the way it broke, it looked like a gun, and he pointed it at a kid. And he got suspended from school.
He chewed it into the shape of a gun. And
Either way.
He did it on
Either
purpose.
way.
No,
It's a goddamn Pop-Tart. And then another kid went like this. Bang, bang. Suspended from school. We live in fucking clown world, man. It's absolutely insane where we live. French Revolution, baby.
I need to start putting out more content just so I can end videos with "It's a free country." At least it used to be.
Yeah. You should. You need to put out more videos. It's been like a year or so, 9 months or so since you put out a video. You see, Greg Wycliffe's putting out a lot of videos. He did a live stream last night where he was reacting to people who were reacting to a TikTok.
To his yeah, he's
Anyway,
he's doing well. Yeah, no, I'm glad.
Canada man gave him a $5 super chat.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, he did well out there at in Ottawa in February. He did great. A lot of people
Agreed.
did great down there.
Yep.
I'm very happy for them. I'm glad.
But you wouldn't know it if you watch CBC or CTV or Global.
No, yeah, exactly.
They're all
According to
racist.
CBC, they demanded the homeless give them their food and tried to set fire to an apartment building, urinated all over the cenotaph, and like that's the only thing you heard. I'm sorry, I have thousands of hours of uncut footage that shows nothing of the sort. I would like 5 minutes. 5 minutes of footage showing any of the things that they're claiming against them.
No, you know what they're claiming? Somebody posted something on social media of like urine, okay, at the cenotaph, like snow with urine in it, like yellow snow. And people are like, you do realize people walk their fucking dogs here all the goddamn time.
Also, based on what I saw of that, yeah, it's off colored. There's nothing to suggest that it wasn't someone with their Timmies doing this to stir it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you can't tell the difference. It could be coffee.
yeah,
For all you like, based on the color I saw.
yeah. Or it could simply be somebody walking their dog in the area,
Yeah.
and the dog lifted a leg. Like, dogs piss on everything. Like, come on. Like, let's be serious. And this is the thing. The news media ran with a social media post of somebody who drew the worst fucking conclusion and said, this is real. It's like that story from a few years back. Okay, so they turned it into this big racist thing. They're saying somebody there's a dormitory on a college, okay? Somebody found a bag of poop on the doorstep of this dormitory. Now, apparently, the dormitory had a lot of black students there. And people said this was a racist piece of vandalism. And what came out was a person came forward and says, "No, actually, I'm sight impaired, and my seeing eye dog pooped. I picked up the poop, but I couldn't find a garbage can, and so typically I leave it by a door so somebody could pick it up and throw it in the garbage can." Nope, it was a racist vandalism attack on the black students.
Craig, you don't understand. There is no reason to ever criticize or do anything that might upset a person of color except racism. People of color are perfect. They are without flaw and cannot be criticized or have poop left on their doorstep.
I guess you're right. Excuse me 1 second.
I'm glad somebody has hope because, yeah, I'm
You're
losing
glad
a lot
what?
of mine. I have for a long time.
Trying to charge my vape. My wife has a little charging cord that she has her headphones plugged into, but I go to use it because it's like multiple ports, multiple like charging dongle, whatever, and it's not working. It's not plugged in. I'm like, well, why you have your headphones charging if it's not actually charging? Yeah, it is what it is.
I guess you just didn't notice.
We're not on the Twitter files anymore. We're all over the place right now.
Yeah,
Should probably take that down.
we don't.
Folks, I hope you're enjoying tonight's live stream content brought to you by Canada Man. You can buy his comic book on Rippaverse Comics. Oh, that's not true. You can't. Wouldn't that be cool? There's a Canada Man comic book.
Fucking write it. Set him in the wasteland.
I should. That'd be cool.
Pokemon at the beginning of the end, huh? And Yu-Gi-Oh is the path to light.
That's right.
Shadow Realm? I'm sending you to the Philippines!
Why are you crying, kitty? Anyway. Irving, you're starting to black pill me, man.
No, I can't. You have a costume.
That's true. I'll put on the costume. I feel so much better about the world. Come on up. Mr. Mac would like to say hello. Say hello, Mr. Mac. You can see his tail. And...
Oh, hello, kitty.
Hey, Mac. Hey, Mac.
That is a classic-looking cat, man.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Bit of a jerk sometimes, but hey, all cats are.
What else we got? I felt like I had so much to talk about. And
And you started drinking.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. You got any jokes to tell? It's a little early, but, you know.
No, I was gonna. That I realized they're not the same thing. I was gonna do that. Like, what's better than winning a medal at the Special Olympics And instead of not being retarded, it was going to be like not having your government suggest you commit suicide instead of installing a stair lift.
It's true. Oh yeah, I want to go back to this one here real quick.
Yeah.
Canada, broken or just cracked? Okay, so here's the thing. Justin Trudeau gets all indignant because Pierre Poilievre was saying that Canada was broken.
What a cunt.
And I'm like, dude, he's like, when you say that Canada's broken, that's where we draw the line. I'm like, fuck, you broke it. Own it up. Don't fucking put it on the guy who just became leader of the opposition less than a year ago. Like, it's not on him. He's just calling out what's going on in Canada. Own up to what the fuck you've done to this country. That's what a leader does. But he ain't a leader. He's a despot.
Okay. I have trouble explaining the Electoral College to people. Right? They just think popular vote should be it. That should be the president in the U.S. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. And then you'll hear this, oh, land doesn't vote, people do. Okay, sure. But let's say you have a handful of states that have massive populations, mostly in large cities, right? And they get huge voter turnout, right? Let's say like New York, LA, Miami.
Atlanta.
Sure. Let's say their turnout was 100% and 100% vote Democrat, right? And then let's say the rest of the states all vote 60-40 Republican. It's hard to say 60-40 is not a clear majority, right? But theoretically, those four states with those four massive cities could outweigh the other states by popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 states versus 46 determine who's president.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. We don't see how stupid that is here in Canada, even though that's what happens every fucking time, right?
True. That's why democracy is bullshit.
I wish I had the picture. I don't have it on me. I'm too drunk to bother looking for it. But you can draw a line, and you know what the arrowhead of Ontario looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stretched up through Ottawa and into Montreal. 50% of Canadians live below that line. They live in this little fucking city-state. That's half of the country's people. And the rest of that massive country doesn't count.
Nope.
Right? So it's like a city-state versus a greater nation. It's not the same country. It's not one fucking country.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, if you were to start on Vancouver Island and drive to the Rock on the other side of the country,
Yeah.
it would take most people almost 2 weeks. Someone like me, 10 days. If you raced your ass off, you could do it in 7. And you would miss 3 whole territories and most of every fucking province to do it. Half of Canadians live within a 1.5 hour drive of me. Right here, right now.
Yeah.
I could pick one of 50% of the people. I can get to them in an hour and a half. It's fucking ridiculous to think this is one country. And yet, no one cares.
Well, Danielle Smith cares. And,
You know what?
and I'm
You
happy
treat
to
her-
see that they have it's about to reach royal assent. The Alberta Sovereignty Act within a United Canada, and because it's been passed, the law passed in the House,
Beautiful.
in the Senate. It just needs to reach royal assent now, or receive royal assent. And they've also just recently come out and said, yeah, we're going to advise prosecutors with respect to crimes or violations of the Firearms Act based on C-21 and the Order in Council. we're going to advise, because they can't direct prosecutors
Yeah.
not to prosecute, but they can advise that it's not a priority. Do not do it. And they're not going to cooperate with the RCMP on confiscating people's firearms. So also the province of Alberta is setting up its own provincial police force, which is good, because then they come under the jurisdiction of the province of Alberta. So now when you look at the polls that are being put out on Twitter from like CTV and stuff like that, apparently Notley's ahead of Daniel Smith. Now, I would say that's probably true in places like Edmonton or maybe Calgary, but just about everywhere else in the province, she's got wide support. And I also don't necessarily believe the polls, because you don't know who they're polling, where they're polling from, that kind of thing.
No, and they had Notley for a long time, and everything went to shit. The idea that they would take her back at all, like, I don't know why she hasn't resigned. Like, I can't believe it, unless, of course, they're have every intention of rigging the fucking elections.
Oh, they very well might. The reason Notley hasn't resigned is because she is a Ottawa toady, right? She takes her marching orders from Justin Trudeau, and they're telling her don't resign.
I mean,
it's all kinds of fucked up here. I don't know if things seem to progress and go well in Alberta, I may push harder on the wife to say we need to relocate. I don't really want to move to Alberta. I don't know anybody in Alberta. I know some people in Alberta. I don't know a lot of people in Alberta, but I also don't want to live in a province that is basically in lockstep with the Liberal government in Ottawa.
yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna make that kind of a move, if I'm gonna go 4,000 kilometers in any direction, I'm gonna be in Texas. Actually, I might not have to go that far. I might be happy enough to just land in Indiana. Have you heard about this shit?
No, what's going on?
So in Indiana, they have passed a law that says if police are using their power, their force, to violate your rights, you, the citizen, have every right to defend yourself. So, yeah, if a cop is trying to break into your car and you blow him away, you didn't commit a crime.
Wow.
Yeah. What? Government overreach? Not in our state.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, like, if cops aren't fulfilling their obligation of the Constitution, they're not fit for purpose. And if they're just, wielding power for the sake of wielding power, or because they think, they're in the right, when in most cases they're not. Like, have you seen these videos of the guy? He's outside of a police station. He's on public land, and he's filming cops going in and out of the parking lot, kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's recording, and people come up and say, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" He's like, "I don't have to talk to you. It's none of your business what I'm doing here. I'm not breaking any law." Well, yeah, but you're acting suspicious. Well, because I'm taking video? I'm taking pictures? There's nothing suspicious about taking pictures in public. Well, you make us uneasy. Well, let them be uneasy. I don't care. Go away. He holds his ground. He's like, you don't have anything on me. Go away. Leave me alone.
I like, be uneasy. I don't care. That's beautiful.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, cops they feel in a lot of cases, cops just feel as though they have the authority to do whatever they want based on their own, preconceived notions of any given situation. Like, unless there's a clear indication of a crime being committed, they shouldn't be doing anything but patrolling in their cars. If they get a call on the radio saying we've got a break-in, go and investigate. Or if they witness somebody speeding or running a red light, chase them down. But other than that, your job is to patrol and intervene when a clear violation of the law is happening. Not because you're uneasy about something. Not because somebody called and said, there's a weird guy hanging out in the park. Not because, like, I don't know. It just seems crazy.
I just, like, we live in Canada. You're not allowed to defend yourself against, say, an intruder in your home. I wouldn't be surprised to discover that if a cop walks up to you, full uniform, doesn't say a word, just starts punching you in the face, if you try to subdue the officer, if you try to fight back, you'll be charged with assaulting an officer.
Right.
Right? Even if he's in the wrong. Even if he goes to prison for assault, you will still be charged with assaulting an officer and do prison time.
Yeah.
Because you should have just let him beat you to death, maybe,
Yeah. Well,
and then let the courts deal with it.
That's why I always say, well, you don't have a right to self-defense with a firearm in Canada. You're right. It's not a right. It's a biological imperative. I have to survive. It's my duty to keep myself alive. And if I feel threatened and I have the means to defend myself, I'm going to do it, regardless of what the law says, regardless of what the police say. Only I can understand what I feel is necessary in that situation. And if you want to arrest me, confiscate my guns, what have you, I'll defend myself in court. But the point of the matter is, like, laws be damned, regulations be damned. I have a duty to protect myself and my family. And it doesn't matter, what it says in a book. There's more to life's existence than what is decreed by lawmakers and police at any given moment. And it's up to me to decide what is necessary force in any given situation. Nobody else can determine that. You can make a lot of assumptions or a lot of considerations after the fact, but you better be able to bring that in evidence.
That sounds pretty seditious, Craig.
Well, it's the truth. Like it or not, it's the truth.
I don't need another winter, especially like an Alberta winter.
I hear you, man. Like Texas, Florida, hell, even Virginia are great places for me to live. I might go West Virginia because I think West Virginia is a little bit more, conservative than Virginia.
Yeah.
But either way, like, I was down in Virginia last weekend when it was like -2 here. It was 14 degrees.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm walking around in shirts and pants without like a jacket or anything. And I'm like, this is perfect. I could take this year round. Now, that being said, in the summer, it gets muggy and hot in Virginia.
Yes.
But it didn't seem like it was any worse than summer in Canada, where it gets muggy and hot.
Yeah.
So
we're on the lake, man.
Yeah. So
It's hell. See, where no, like I could have that dry heat of Texas year round, basically, where like when it snows, Six pulls out his video camera and he videos the whole snowfall.
yeah,
Right? Because it happens for 2 hours once every 3 years. Like,
yeah. Arizona. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I could take Arizona too.
Yep.
And it looks like the court case with regards to the election between Katie Hobbs and what's her name? Carrie Lake. Is that her name? Carrie Lake?
Carrie or Kari? I don't know.
Anyway, that's going forward, and it sounds to me like the judge is like, he's a no-nonsense kind of person. Oh, I get the hiccups, sorry. And he's like, no, we're going to sort this shit out.
Bitch, you certified your own election?
Yeah. That doesn't fly here.
Yeah, no.
Especially in one that was so rife with like problems on election day.
Yeah.
Costin says, I promise not to chase either of you to Alberta. Excuse me. Thanks, Costin. These hiccups are killing me here. Excuse me while I go get a drink. Will you mind
I'll try.
holding down the stream?
Broken or just cracked?
I'll be back.
Oof. I say broken, and it's been broken a long time. And when I say I'm a Republican, I don't mean that I'm like a American style Republican or even a Trump supporting Republican, which I mean I'm a Trump supporter, love Trump, great president. I mean I'm a Republican in the technical sense. I believe the constitutional monarchy is a bunch of bullshit. The whole of our constitution is a myth, and we need to, yeah, break down the whole nation since it's already fucking broken and rebuild it as an actual republic with a constitution that means something, maybe has some fucking teeth, some, you know, provisions to punish and remove corrupt politicians who are abusing the system against the citizens to enrich themselves. I don't think that's unreasonable. I did it.
You did what?
I spoke the whole time you were gone.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, God. For all 3 viewers we have, which is probably me, you, and Costin.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's all right.
We don't do this for views.
No, we do it for fun. We do it for catharsis. But, are these hiccups gone? Nope. Fuck
That
me.
works for my sister. Hiccup again, Craig, and next time I see you, I'll give you $50 cash.
That might have worked. Why would I consciously stop hiccuping if I'm going to get $50 cash if I hiccup again?
It works for my sister. It has since she was a kid. My dad did it one time as a joke when she was like 6, and it works. It works.
That's funny.
That's so. You know what it is? Is I meant it. I looked. I know you don't see me looking in your eyes, but I looked at you on the screen. I was like, I'll do it.
Cool. All right. Well, no hiccups so far, so your $50 is safe in your pocket for the time being.
Your $50.
No, I haven't hiccuped yet.
Yeah, well,
if I hiccup, then I get $50. Well, it is coming on to 2 hours. It's not quite there yet, but I think it's time for a joke because no one tells jokes anymore. Irving, do you have a joke for us tonight in the chat? Anybody? Costin, do you have a joke you wish to share? I'm trying to think of one.
We don't have to tell jokes because we fucking live in a joke of a country.
That's true. Oh, I got one. What do you call a shithole with a tyrant for head of state?
Canada.
Yeah, you heard it before. Anyway, sir, I've been having a pretty good night. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I know it's not as long as we normally go. We normally go more than 2 hours, but that's okay.
No. I mean, no. We try to fill 2 hours, and occasionally we get super excited and do 3.
That's true. We get off on a tangent, and it's just really scintillating conversation, and it goes longer.
Yeah.
Our W.R. Costin says, Irving Twin, best joke ever.
Yeah, my existence is a fucking joke.
No, it's not.
I'm glad it makes somebody happy.
Sir, you are the salt of the earth and a model for all of us to live by.
God, don't even know. Now that's a joke. That's
you're a genuine hero.
This coming from Canada, man. He's got a cape.
Yeah, you know what though? Like I only wore the cape just to complete the outfit, but he really shouldn't be wearing a cape.
No, it works, man. That thumbnail, like I realized afterwards, you don't see the cape swooshing, but you can tell the way it's slanted off one shoulder. This man has been fucking going at it, like, and something is pulling that cape away, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a very dynamic picture for how static it is. Like,
Well, because he's walking and he's got the
yeah,
gun in his hand, right?
it's beautiful.
And also, he doesn't look nearly as fat as he does when he's standing there with his hands on his hips. Like, I saw that picture of me with my hands on my hips as came in. I'm like, oh man, I look like a fat piece of shit.
Look, move with purpose with a gun in your hand. You
And
look
yeah,
badass. It's
yeah,
not.
nobody will notice how fat you are.
It's it's not a difficult formula here. Okay.
It's true. It's true. It was good too because it was like the official photographers for the field. They were catching all the people as they were walking into the play area, and I just happened to look at him as he was taking the shot, and I'm like, oh, I hope that's a good picture. Anyway, but
It's iconic. It will be.
it will be iconic.
Yeah.
Somebody Photoshop it, turn it into cartoon artwork, like comic book artwork.
There's an app for that, actually.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't have a joke tonight. I'm sorry. I should have come prepared. Apologize, people.
No, that's okay. We still got time. Gives me like I had such a good conversation at work with one of the guys at work that yeah, I can touch on some of this.
Yeah, relay it.
It's not
Why
jokes.
not?
It's just good convos. Like
Is this the guy you were saying that we should have on the show sometime?
uh I told him, yeah, get yourself a YouTube channel and espouse your political positions. Then I'll feel comfortable enough to tell you who I am on the internet and have you on,
Oh, okay.
right? But like I told him, yeah, that conversation we had, that's what we do, right? Because I've told him I do it, and I didn't tell him, yeah, follow Craig Bragg in Canada, man, and you'll find me, right? No, I try to keep that separate just in
Right.
case.
Yeah.
Only one time have I ever worked with somebody who recognized me and knew who I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But no, yeah, like he had brought up that thing about, oh yeah, no, I don't want to like compare it to like the Nazis or whatever and the oppression that other people have experienced. But there was that woman who was, descendant of a Holocaust survivor who, was saying it doesn't happen all at once. That's why it happened, because it happens small steps at a time.
Yep.
And I had brought up to him, like, yeah, like the thing that stood out to me was the same people, the Venn diagram, the overlap was huge of the people who talk about historical oppression, right? Oh, this was a terrible thing that happened to these people and it should never happen again. Terrible thing. White people did this horribleness and have been the worst thing to happen to the world in all of history. Also, we're cheerleading me being banned from bars and restaurants and movie theaters, right? Like, they don't know what it is. It's so easy to look back and say that was bad. And then while it's happening in front of you, it's so easy to just go with the flow and just go with wherever the power structure is pushing you. And that thing that the psychology professors, philosophy professors tell you, what do you think you would have been doing in 1930s Germany or 19 teens Russia? You're doing it now. That's always true. Like, if you're not all about freedom and end of oppression and tyranny, then you're not about it. Like, if you're looking backwards and saying, oh, that was terrible, but when it's happening in front of you, you somehow don't recognize it, guess what? If you existed back then at the time you're against which you're railing, you would have been one of those people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the difference. It's the difference between being principled and having a principle, or having principles, and having an ideology, right? And
Yeah.
the problem is the media speaks to an ideology. It speaks to a worldview, as opposed to a set of principles. And like, it is saddening to see people act like that. Because for me, maybe I'm being too generous in that sense. But I'm thinking they've been so waylaid, they've been so misinformed, or they've been so confused by spin and narrative. Because the fact of the matter is, people who are vaccine hesitant, for very reasonable, that's how they view them. Vaccine hesitant. No, it's an experimental treatment that hasn't gone through the same rigor that other vaccines have gone through. It uses the technology that doesn't really get used in vaccines. It's not technically a vaccine when it comes right down to it. And they're pushing so hard for it, it makes me skeptical. So the fact that it's not being portrayed as that argument, but rather these people are science deniers, these people are these people are, are low information, it's a divisive kind of rhetoric that people just lap up because they have an enemy now. And they've got an enemy that the media, the government, and everybody of influence is telling them it's okay to hate. Right? It's the same that goes for people who, will decry all of the terrible things that happen to, black people in the United States at the hands of cops, but have no problem talking about how they want the death of all white people. They don't have principles, they have an ideology. And part of the reason they have that ideology is because they want something to hate. They want an enemy. They don't want to be right. They don't want to be decent. They don't want to be good. They want to have an enemy so that they can feel superior. Because if there's an enemy, obviously that person is worse than them, so they can feel a little bit better about themselves, right? So, and if it's an enemy that everybody's on board with hating, right? If it's an enemy that the media and the government and doctors and officials and people of authority are saying are bad people, then you can feel good about saying they're bad people.
We need to get John Cleese on. He did a whole bit about
I
this in
know, right?
late 70s, early 80s.
About being offended, yes.
No, about being an extremist.
Oh,
Yeah,
being an extremist. Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
beautiful. But you're not wrong, and that goes older than that too. Jordan Peterson, rest in peace.
He's not dead, man.
Oh no, but he got BTFO'd by Canada, man. That
Should we share that? Let's see.
that was magic. Yeah, find that, pull that shit up. Not on my bingo card. But yeah, like he talks about Dostoevsky, right? That basically saying that the hallmark of your existence is struggle, right? And it just seems that these people don't have any real struggle in their lives for whatever reason. And so they create one that if you had everything handed to you, if all of your life was perfect and you lived in a post scarcity society, you would burn it down just to have an adventure.
Yeah, probably. It's from a few days ago, so it's going to be hard to find it.
Yeah,
Actually.
no problem.
Did you see what Candyman said to his daughter?
I did not actually. I think you might still be Shadow Man because Elon Musk is not the man everyone wants him to be. Which is,
True.
he's just a man. It's a private company. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, it's true.
Still better. Not gonna lie.
Oh, I should find yours. Where's yours?
And circling
Oh, here
back,
it is. Here it is.
you still haven't fucking hiccuped. It worked.
It did work. Wow, man, that $50 is safe in your pocket.
It's my birthday month.
There you go. All right, so let's share this. Here we go. I'll zoom in on it a bit.
You're a hero, sir, but on this you are misguided. Your disdain for anonymity is unsophisticated and ignores the important points in history that have come about because of people who exposed corruption and evil anonymously. I wear this mask for a reason, and it's not cowardice. Peterson getting politely but firmly BTFO'd by Canada Man was not on my 2022 bingo card. Just phenomenal. Like, wow.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can find. It's recent, so it should be easier to find on his profile here. Oh yeah, here it is. Second.
Who's more Canada Man? Oh, to Michaela Peterson.
Yeah. So she put up a new profile pic. I don't know if you know this or not, but she used to wear bangs all the time.
Sure.
Candyman responded with, "Ever thought of donning a domino mask in a form-fitting, brightly colored outfit? I'm thinking red, white, and black in color."
Recruiting. That is some high-level recruiting, my dude.
All right. I haven't got. I don't know. Let's take a look and see what the activity is on that. Oh, I can't look at that. I have to be logged in as Candyman to look at that.
Oh,
I don't imagine a lot of people have seen it because Candyman's a very small channel. Very small. Like Candyman only has, I think, 80 followers. But that's okay.
Hey, can I share a thing?
Yeah, for
while
sure.
we're doing this?
Yeah,
this
go
is
for it.
Going back to the fucking climate people. Climate crisis.
Costin says she is attractive. She's very attractive.
She's a super cutie. Oh, you've got to put me in.
I am so sorry. I forgot I have to do that.
What? I shared the wrong screen.
Yeah, I just share my Chrome tab. I don't know if it's from Chrome that you're doing it, but
No, I have multiple screens, and I just fucked it up.
try again.
There we go. That should work this time. Yeah, so... Oh, this is from Peter Kalmus. Go ahead, everyone, attack. It's incredibly difficult being a climate scientist in this society at an emotional level. We can see the future. It is terrifying, and we are being ignored. Now, just bear with me. We can see the future.
I saw that.
Oh, come on, be bigger. This is all the claims from the 1970s.
Yeah.
Up through Al Gore and the disappearing of the glaciers.
Yeah.
Right? What a fucking... Oh, my God. Just drives me up the fucking wall how absolutely useless and stupid climate scientists are.
And this is an example of the egoism of credentials, right? You become credentialed in some field, and all of a sudden you feel as though your opinion should be taken above all others, forgetting the fact that you are in the discipline of science, and one of the key things you want to do as a scientist is propose a hypothesis and put forward a theory and have somebody either prove it or disprove, or somebody disprove it. If it's disproven, you're doing science. If you feel as though that you know so much that your word can be taken on faith, you've stopped doing science. You've now, moved into the realm of religion.
Yeah.
And so, like, this is why I disdain the idea that, like, I got into an argument with I mentioned this in my video when I was in Antigua with a friend of mine who I went on holiday with, and she was like, "Well, if not secular humanism, what kind of society do you want to see?" And I said to her, "Look,
Christian.
well, I didn't say that. I just said, well, think about what secular humanism has gotten us." And I told her my whole thing, like when after the attacks of 9/11 and the rise of the new atheists, I thought maybe finally we can put a nail in the coffin of religion, of organized religion, dictating policy, dictating the movement of society, and we can have a truly secular humanist society where everybody is treated, with decency and there's no discrimination on the basis of religion or where you come from. And this was my, my starry-eyed view of what a secular humanist society would bring. And then it's now dawned on me, right? And I said, but now look what we have. We live in a secular humanist society, right? That's motivated, that basically discounts religion, discounts tradition, and instead motivated on junk science that is based on political ideology to the point where now nobody can even define what a woman is. Right? So if this is what a secular humanist society is going to bring about, I wish I'd never said that. I wish I'd never thought about this kind of, because this is not what I imagined when I thought maybe we need a secular humanist society, or we need a world that's dictated by more secular humanist philosophy. Because secular humanist philosophy has because there's no sort of greater concept that undergirds it, a meta narrative, so to speak, right? It's prey to all of the worst aspects of human thought, meaning, moral objectivism or moral subjectivism. Yeah. I mean, and ideological intent on trying to put forward a worldview or a path. These are the problems, right, that we have when we discount tradition and we discount things like a strong meta narrative that undergirds our society via culture. When you discard all of the good things about a culture, all of the good things about history, and instead replace them with this myopic view of, you now have the hindsight and you're morally superior, so therefore you can dictate the future. Do you not understand that everybody who ever existed, every generation, thought that they were the most enlightened generation ever, and they'd hit the peak of human enlightenment? We are never going to stop becoming more enlightened. And just because you think that your particular worldview is the peak of enlightenment doesn't necessarily mean it is. There's like a motivational poster that shows like a hawk flying over a lake, and in its claws is a fish. And the motivational poster says, progress. Just because you're moving forward doesn't mean you're going to a better place.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah. I mean, the problem with secular humanism is that it denies the existence of spirit and soul. And without that, the value of a human being is the productivity of the human being and not their existence.
Yeah,
your existence is secondary, and it costs a lot of money to support you. So maybe we should just medically assist you in death.
Yeah.
Instead of, right?
Well, this is the issue, right? Because, okay, now I'm not going to evoke the idea of spirituality in a soul, but I will evoke the idea of individuals having value as an axiom of existence, right? You and I are two totally different people, completely different genetically, completely different culturally because we grew up in different environments. All of that. We're complete. So as individuals, as sovereign individuals, we have value just by virtue that we've lived on this planet for 52 years in my case and 29 years in yours.
I look like shit for 29. Bro.
I'm being flattering. He's not 29. He's older than 29. But anyway, so what we do when we abandon that, I call it a meta narrative because that's how I view it. We abandon that mythos that undergirds our civilization. Is we have to boil human existence down to a mechanistic kind of thing. We're just parts of a machine. It's why communists can never understand why their systems don't work, because it has a mechanistic view of human behavior and human nature. It sees human beings as bees or ants who will just behave based on economic forces being the defining motivation for all human behavior, and that's simply not the case, right? Therein comes what you would determine a soul, what I would determine, self-determination or self-actualization, a need for people to become self-determinant, self-actualized, right? Whereas a communist or a socialist would say, no. As long as people are fed and housed and clothed and have a little bit of entertainment now and again, they're going to be happy and society will flourish. It's not how it works.
No, we should have a whole stream about spirituality.
We should.
And yeah, because I just can't accept that. I can't accept that if you said, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm an individual, self-determining entity, and my decision is to end myself. No, I think there's more value than that, and I think that's not right. And I wouldn't be happy with it. It wouldn't sit right with me, no matter how much I value your freedom. Right? That like your freedom, your individualism. No, there's something else happening there, and maybe it's like we're talking the science. So I'm shitting on all these scientists for being bad scientists, and now here I am doing the same thing. Because I don't think it's all science. Well, I think there's something magic. And that magic, I don't think you have the right to just end it.
I don't think any reasonable person, anybody who's in their right mind, should want to end their life.
No.
I understand there might be...
On. I think it was Hume. David Hume, who said the only logical question anyone should ever be asking is whether or not to end your own life.
Whether or not, sorry?
To end your own life.
And in 99.9% of cases, the answer should be no, you shouldn't end your own life.
You know what? That wasn't his response.
Well, maybe not, but...
Right? And like, yeah, the only logical response to the question is whether or not to continue living. But there's more to it than logic when it comes to a human life. There has to be. Right? Like,
I agree.
Look how black-pilled I've become. I'm not looking to end my life. I'm not looking to go out and do some extreme thing that will ultimately end my life, right? Because there's something more. At least I believe it. No, I get it. I don't want a thing to be true, so I don't believe it. I want a thing to be true, so I believe it. That's very possible, a bias falling into what I'm saying. But again, we could have this conversation, a huge stream just about this kind of thing. Because you're kind of an atheist, and I'm kind of a Christian. And this would be a very fun stream, I think.
I think so too. I think it would be I think it would be really enlightening, and I think it would be really interesting conversation. I will say this: I don't. When I say when I use the term meta narrative, it's not to discount the idea that, or to put forward the idea that everything is physical and materialistic. I don't necessarily believe that either. I think there is more to existence than just the physical reality that we are in. I don't know if it comes to the point where you would call it a soul. Like, for instance, consciousness, let's say, and we're getting a little bit deep into the weeds here, but consciousness is not a physical thing, but it is a manifestation of physical processes. It's an emergent property of an evolved brain. But does that equate to a soul? Like, and when I say soul, I don't want to mischaracterize what you mean by a soul. When atheists like myself think of soul, the term of a soul, we think of a spirit, something that is separate from the body, that when the body expires, the spirit leaves it. That might be a very naive point of view. It could be something completely different. It could be something about that has to do with a transformation of consciousness. I don't know. And I don't think anybody really knows. But the biblical idea of a soul, or how it's sort of represented, or how people infer it, sounds like ghost stories. and I don't know that that's correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do I think that when I die, anything that happens beyond, my physical body expiring? I don't know. My intuition is probably not. I think basically when the physical when my brain stops functioning, I stop existing and I start to decompose. But I am hopeful that there's some sort of transformative phenomena to my consciousness that maybe lets me live on. Or that if I take the steps to preserve my corpse and my brain, that maybe I could have life beyond life if technology were to reach a point where my brain could be revived. That, to me, sounds like a reasonable afterlife as well.
Okay. Weird responses to all of this. So philosophers lost the plot a long time ago, and now there's such a thing as atomists that believe that everything is absolutely physical. Matter, energy, that's all that ever is and ever was, and that's the end of it. But they're not scientists, but the scientists will tell you some cool things that might actually aid people on a spiritual journey.
Especially when you look at things at the quantum level, right?
Yeah, of course.
Spooky action at a distance. I mean, that sounds like there's something behind it all that we can never understand, that is above our understanding, and maybe approaches the idea of a continued existence for everything.
Okay, yeah, but if you believe in, say, God or gods or spirit, it makes perfect sense, right? We're all intertwined forever. And actually, that's the scientific consensus, that matter and energy are equivalent. They're the same thing. E equals mc squared, right? That's provably true. We can split atoms based on this equation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lost my... No, I still have... No, I'm on my last one.
It's all good.
But we have laws of conservation.
Did I lose you? Oh, I might have lost you, Irving.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. There's a bit of a lag there.
Yeah, I saw it.
I heard. Last thing I heard was laws of conservation.
Laws of conservation of mass and energy. Mm-hmm. Matter in our enclosed system called our universe that has been going on for some 14 billion years, maybe more, bunches of matter and energy were created, and that doesn't change. It transfers. Energy transfers from one source to another, keeps moving around. Maybe becomes matter, maybe matter becomes energy, but the total value is always the same. Turns out, the more we learn about computing and data storage, there are laws of conservation of information. The information has always existed and will always continue to exist. You can delete everything on your computer, you can smash your fucking hard drive to bits, but if somebody had the right tech and the right know-how, they could retrieve every file you've ever saved. That's not different from you. Your mind, that is built off of all this matter and energy, your person is a set of data that some assholes are starting to claim can be shifted to silicon, that it can be stored and you can become a computer. You can Neuralink, fucking Elon Musk. So it seems like the science is actually confirming the existence of the individual without a body, the sort of like a soul, right? That information, even if it dissipates across the whole of the universe for the next billion years, all of it is still you. And here's what's really weird is it was always you before you were born. And it just sort of coalesced in that moment to exist as you for a little bit and then moved on. So yeah, ghost stories and hauntings, that's a little bit bullshit and weird, but you, the self, don't stop existing when your body expires. That doesn't make any sense. If all of this information you're accumulating now will never stop existing and has always existed because we have laws of conservation of matter, energy, and information, that's almost like we always existed and continue to always exist.
Hence an
Even if,
immortal soul.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's interesting. It's kind of funny because in my days as a vehement and outspoken atheist, a common refrain from a lot of the atheist types is, look, it's the God of the gaps, right? Just because we don't understand how something works now doesn't mean that science isn't going to come to an understanding about it at some point in the future. And I understand that, but based on what you're saying here, it's almost like my intuition is telling me that science could ultimately become the method by which we confirm a lot of the God of the gaps as being more than what we understood. The more we understand about the physical universe, the more weird and creepy and odd it gets, right? The more we realize we don't understand, right? So will we ever reach a point where we'll have enough knowledge to understand everything? No, but we might reach a point where our understanding about the cosmos and about the universe and about reality shift to the point where what people who have sort of a spiritual intuition or are sort of aligned more with the metaphysical explanation about reality may be vindicated ultimately, right? So
if
I'm saying science might vindicate the spiritualists, science might vindicate the people who believe in the supernatural ultimately.
I mean, it can. Supernatural is one thing. Look, I've always been a person interested in all of the science stuff, and a person always interested in the spiritual, philosophical stuff. And I find on both ends, there's people that are dogmatic and wrong. Like, and they're wrong because they're dogmatic.
Yeah.
And if you just walk the line between them and take the bits that make sense, you find, oh, everybody's a little bit right, everybody's a little bit wrong. And oddly, it all sorts to fall in line with this concept that we are eternal, right? Like Carl Sagan tells you, you're made from star stuff.
Yep.
That's not wrong. God tells you, let there be light. How is that different? Except one is more technical and one is more narrative.
Right.
They're the same thing, right? You're made from the same stuff as the universe. We all are. The whole universe is nothing but the whole universe. It's just sort of coalesced and specialized in certain regions. If you're dogmatically atheist or dogmatically scientific or dogmatically Catholic, you're going to miss parts of the picture. If you can navigate your way through everything and, for God forbid, do your own research, you might find we're just matter and energy and also very, very special.
Yeah. I won't discount that. We are very, very special. And I will even say we are just matter and energy. But at this point, our understanding of what matter and energy are in a larger scheme is pretty limited.
Yep.
So, like the definition of energy is the ability to do work, right? So when I would hear people talk about, oh, I saw a ghost or ghosts, yeah, I believe in ghosts because when it comes down to it, we're all just energy. I'm like, we're all just the ability to do work. Is that what you mean? And it's kind of glib and it's kind of dismissive, but what I'm coming to understand now is who's the philosopher? I'm sorry, I'm not up on my philosophers, but who's the philosopher said the only wisdom is knowing that you know nothing? Something along those lines. Was it Socrates?
So, Socrates was told by
Plato,
the Oracle of Delphi, that he was the wisest man in Athens, and he was like, "What are you talking about? I know nothing." And
he's like,
and he went about,
and that was the greatest wisdom, to come to the understanding that just when you think you know something, you'll learn something that makes you realize you didn't know what the fuck you were thinking about. Yeah. Like, you ever think back to the stupid shit you did in high school, and you go, I can't believe I did that. Why would I do something so fucking stupid? Now, mind you, in high school,
be right back.
Yeah. If you're still listening. Mind you, in high school, you would have thought, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And you took it, to the bank that you could navigate whatever it was you were trying to navigate. And then maybe you came out by the skin of your teeth and you came out of it okay. But you realize after the fact that it probably wasn't the wisest thing you did. And now, 20 years later, 30 years later, you look back and go, God, that was a stupid, foolhardy thing to do. Why would I do something so stupid? Anyway. Well, so this live stream that looked like it wasn't even going to reach 2 hours, we've gone almost to 2.5 because we started talking about deeper shit, which is cool. I like talking about deep shit. And maybe Irving's right. Maybe on his Casual AF, we can get into some really deep, nitty-gritty stuff at some point. If that's something you guys are interested in, let us know. We're not the most articulate people, nor do we have the most sophisticated ideas. But at the very least, I think both Irving and I will be honest with what it is we think we know, what it is we thought we knew, what it is we don't know, and what it is we believe. So, and that could be interesting in and of itself. When he comes back, I think we're going to sign off for the night because I'm just about done. I have surgery tomorrow. I didn't mention this before in the stream, but tomorrow I'm heading into Mississauga to say goodbye to these things. I'm going to go get LASIK surgery done at a clinic in Mississauga, and hopefully I'll never need to wear Glasses for distance vision again. I'm hoping anyway. That's their guarantee. I'll just need to wear readers because I'm an old man. But yeah, it's exciting. Next time I'm on a stream, I won't be wearing glasses, so get used to this face without glasses. I happen to think I'm a pretty handsome fellow, but then I've been known to be a bit arrogant. So there you be. Who else we got still listening here? It says we're 3 people watching. I truly believe it's probably me, Irving, and Costin. But maybe there's someone else in there. Costin, are you still there, buddy? Or did you doze off at our talk about spiritualism and materialism? He's back.
Yeah, I know. Might have put some people off.
That's okay. I think it's worth a conversation worth having. So maybe your next casual AF should be serious AF or deep AF.
Deep. And we'll get into the spiritual beliefs of an atheist and a Johannine Gnostic Christian. What the fuck?
Yes, Costin. I said I was just asking if you were still here because I'm looking at the view count. It's now back up to 4, but it said we had 3, and I'm like, that's probably Irving, myself, and Costin. So, yeah, maybe someone else just popped in. Who knows? Maybe it's the YouTube moderators making sure we're not talking about anything verboten.
So there are no Jews. There are only skinwalkers.
Oh my god. Okay, Pox.
You know what's hilarious? You know what's hilarious is I thought of this as like a joke a while ago. Apparently, this is a legit conspiracy theory. There are people that believe this before I thought of it as a joke.
What, the Jews are not actually human? They're aliens, or
no? They're skinwalkers.
They're skinwalkers.
Yeah, and the skinwalker story. Oh God, we should get into that one day too.
That reminds me of Borat talking about the Jew. You see here his horns.
His horns and his Jew claw. Yeah.
And his Jew.
How do you defend against the Jew claw?
And the Jew, he lays the eggs. It's like fuck.
It's oh my god.
Oh Christ.
Speaking of which, there's a new book about Neanderthals called Us and Them, and a man did a whole lot of research, blows the bell curve on what people think is Neanderthals, and
what people think are Cro-Magnon, eventually Homo sapiens sapiens.
So Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal, what we thought happened was not the case, and his book Us and Them, Danny Vendramini, changes the game. He's
You're not going to tell me that Neanderthals were Jews and Gentiles were Cro-Magnon, were you?
No, I'm not going to tell you that. You're going to figure it out for yourself.
Oh Christ! All right, Pox, whatever you say.
No. The atheist goes, oh, Christ. You know, it's so amazing. There's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. Okay? Like, when it comes down to it, you're going to pray to the Lord. And you're gonna beg for salvation. Like,
Hey, I told you about the time I got held up at gunpoint, right? When I was lying there on that tile floor and they were tying up my hands and feet, I very briefly became a Christian. I was praying to God. I did not want to die that night.
Look, Jesus doesn't command us nothing. You know that.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but...
The religious right, if they're religious and right-wing, and they start telling you, we have to govern our nation because Jesus commands us.
Oh, like dominionists. Yeah, okay.
Jesus didn't command me nothing. Jesus invited me. Because commanding denies my free association. It denies my ability to embrace it willingly. I am not commanded anything. I am invited. It's up to me. Right.
So what you're saying is Jesus was a libertarian.
Yup. Yeah. No.
No, I've heard that argument. Jesus was like he fought against the state. He fought for people to have their own agency. He fought for people to basically embrace their better selves. Yeah.
I have seen so many people try and like argue to me that, oh, what, you're a Christian? Oh, well, Jesus said this. So that's why we should have the government do these things. And it's like, no, hold on. Jesus didn't command me to do it. He invited me. All right.
Right.
Jesus invited me to feed the hungry and clothe the poor. He never commanded me to usurp my government and use the force of that government to make other people do what I believe, whether or not they agree. In fact, I think he would be a little upset that we use that force of government that was turned against him and pinned him to a fucking cross to accomplish his will. I think he would not be okay with the same authoritarianism that put him to death. I think that might, irk him a little bit.
We got C-Mac in the house, and C-Mac has a picture now.
C-Mac, yeah, you missed it all, sweetie.
That's what I said. You missed everything, LOL. She says, LOL, shame. That's okay. You can watch it after the fact. No, we were about to end the stream about 45 minutes ago.
You were. I'm just back.
I was getting ready to end the stream about 45 minutes ago because I had a bad case of the hiccups and I couldn't think of anything else to say. And then Irving dropped this deep philosophical bomb on me, and then it turned into 45 minutes worth of discussion about spirituality, materialism, atheism, all sorts of stuff.
I could do it forever. I could have this talk.
But no, I do think you're right. I think it would be cool if we did like a more heavy discussion, like in our lighthearted way, of course.
Yeah.
Right. And you have your casual AF stream. I think it'd be really funny.
Up about it is that if you're properly reading the Jesus lessons, all of your talks about Jesus and spirituality should be lighthearted. Right? He didn't come to like command this and threaten you with fire. He came to invite you to like a party. So it should be pretty chill, the conversation.
I agree. Well, I just mean like it'll be a deeper discussion just because of the subject matter, but it won't be like heavy, you know.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We can get into the depths of it, but it shouldn't be heavy-handed. Okay.
I better rewind, LOL. Irving's rant can talk me to sleep later.
I'm not ranting.
Yeah, he didn't rant at any point tonight. I think I was the only one who was ranting, truth be told.
Your rants are beautiful.
Did you see Razorfist's latest rant?
Yes.
That was good.
I loved it. Yeah.
It wasn't get woke, go broke. It was go broke, get woke. And he's got a point. He's got a point. When you're going broke, you're like, okay, I'll sign on board of this ESG. It'll up my cap, my market cap, and then maybe I can sell my failing business to some larger corporation.
But you can't avoid it, right? You can't avoid going down.
Nope.
It's so weird, man. Like, I'm in this weird place. I don't. Bill Gates will buy it. Yeah, he just might.
Buy our live stream.
I am among apparently the few that get along well with the whites. Craig Pox.
The whites. Oh, the white pills, you mean?
No, the white people.
Oh, okay.
The blacks and Asians, the Arabs. I've got so many friends and connections through all this, like through work and high school, right? That I just know all these people that seem to like me for some reason.
Well, you're an affable guy.
They keep telling me that. I think they're mistaking my chimpanzee reaction that I'm smiling all the time. That's not happy. That's anger. Like that's like severe aggression.
No, you're affable. You're likable. You got this Paul Rudd thing going on. I don't know what it is.
I love Paul Rudd.
Me too, because he's so fucking affable. Everybody likes him. He's such a nice. He seems like such a decent dude. He seems like a really down to earth person that you kind of want to hang out with.
That's why I'm so mad about that last movie he did that came out, because I never saw a preview for the movie. I just saw him and some gay dude running around going, "Do you want to see a gay movie?" And
Was he in
people
that?
were
No, he wasn't in that.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd was in that gay movie?
Yeah.
No.
So Paul Rudd and some gay dude were running around going, "Do you want to see a gay movie?" That was the whole preview. That was all I ever saw. And I'm so mad because Paul Rudd is better than that. He should just do a
What was the name of that movie?
I don't even know because I was so mad.
Was it Bros or?
Yes. It's Bros.
Okay, I want to look it up. It's a Judd Apatow movie.
Hi everyone, it's Bobby Lieber, and welcome to your favorite podcast where I talk about whatever I feel like talking about. So
He's just watching the preview with this milk. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's how I felt about the whole thing. Right? Like, why, Paul Rudd? Why would you just fucking go ahead and do this? I wasn't happy.
While we're both worrying about a volcano. They said we just want a movie that shows the world that gay relationships and straight relationships are the same. Love is love is love. I said, love is love is love. No, it's not. That is bullshit. Our friendships are different. I have to go to a party. You're too old to be in the pool. Please leave. Our sex lives are different.
No,
Yeah, I don't really want to watch that fucking
movies,
trailer.
T-Mac. Don't.
I don't think Paul Rudd's in it, man. There's Billy Eicher, Luke McFarlane, Guy Branum, Miss Lawrence Washington.
Literally ran around on the street promoting the movie.
Okay, so maybe he was involved in promoting it, but I don't think he's in it. I don't know why he'd be promoting it.
That makes it worse somehow.
Okay, I will agree. That's kind of weird. C-Mac says he needs an higher ESG score.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
Maybe Disney made him do it. Say, look, if you want this larger take of Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania,
that just makes me lose respect.
then we're going to give you a little bit more market share of the box office take of Ant-Man and Quantumania, but you got to go promote this Bros movie because it's not previewing very well.
Where did we get this idea that I'm somehow affable, likable, Paul Ruddish? What? No, I'm an absolute fucking cunt. Like, I'm such a curmudgeon.
No, you're not. You wish you were. You're a good guy and you're likable.
No, I say what I think and I don't give a shit.
That's what makes you likable, because you're genuine.
That's not the same thing. Those are two very different things.
No. You're confusing affable with agreeable. I'm not saying you're agreeable. Affable just means people like you. And the reason they like you is because you're genuine and you don't give a shit. That's like a level of honesty that is attractive.
Okay, I've caught people talking about me at work, right? Someone was actually like talking shit about me that said something like, yeah, no, he thinks he's way smarter than he is. And I was like, look, the only thing you need to know about me is I love the sound of my own voice. And I hate government. Okay? Smart, stupid, doesn't matter. That's what I am. And do with that what you will. He's been cooler with me ever since, right? Like he was sort of standoffish with me before that, but I heard him saying it, and I was like, "Yeah, no, you're not wrong, but this is what I am." And now we're actually kind of buddies. Like he's way nicer to me, at least, right? So it's not a matter of affable. It's not a matter of likable or nice. It's just like I am so dead honest. And the worst part is I know myself. I know everything you think is wrong with me. I already know because I know. I know what's wrong with me. Right? The same thing that makes me likable to one person will make me hateable to another.
Well, I'm not saying you're going to please everybody. There's going to be some people who don't like it for sure. But genuinely speaking, I'm sure there's people out there who think Paul Rudd's a douchebag.
Sure.
But most people, his market appeal is that he seems like a really decent dude.
But I'm not decent. I'm just sort of like, oh, what's the word? Yeah, no, I'm too honest and too self-aware that there's no thing you can tell me, like in an attempt to hurt my feelings, that I'm gonna be like, or you're wrong, you don't know me. I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's absolutely true.
See, I'm all like, I've always like, I'm like, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Like you can think whatever you want about me. I mean, if you're brutally honest with me, I know all of my own faults, and nobody likes to have their faults called out about them because they're pain points because we know that they're things that we haven't addressed that we should.
But it's deeper for me because when you point out my faults, I'm going to be like, yeah, I know it. I embrace it. I actually use my fault to my advantage at some point because all of our faults and our advantages stem from one thing, right? So whatever's wrong with me actually aids me somewhere else. So, and that's true of all people. I worked with a guy who, for the most part, would always be like, "Oh, let's go, guys! Yeah, we're gonna get it done." He'd hop over something to help out his neighbor and jump back and do his own job. And people are too immature to look at themselves really. And the same guy would then get so mad about something that he would throw a customer's package at another employee because the man is passionate. He's a passionate person for better or for worse, and both in his life forever because that's what he is. So if you acknowledge the thing that I have can be valuable or can be damaging, when someone points it out, it's like, yeah, and?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and you're right, C-Mac, people are too mature to, it may not be necessarily maturity, it's also, it can be painful to recognize, come to realization or come to terms with your foibles, especially if they're deep ones, right? Like if they're really bad character traits, a lot of people don't want to admit to themselves that they have bad character traits, and some people will embrace it, like Irving saying. But I was like, "Yep, you're absolutely right. I'm a slob. I don't care." Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it could be a level of maturity thing. I don't know. I think. I mean, I know what's wrong with me. I know the things I need to do that will make me a better person. It's a matter of having the will to do it, and that's probably my biggest flaw. I keep joking about having a strong force of will. I really don't. And I wish I did. So that's probably my biggest flaw. I wish I had a stronger force of will. Train a horse, you have to learn how to control your tendencies. I'm sure you do, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. There's lots of people who blame other people for their faults. Yeah, exactly. I was mistreated as a child by my mom, and that's why I am the way I am. Well, yeah, but you're an adult now. Maybe come to terms with the fact that that's not a good character trait, and maybe you should do something about it. Yeah. Yeah, imagine training a horse, a 400-pound animal that could destroy you if it makes a wrong move. Yeah, I imagine that's probably reins in your baser instincts, your more, I don't know, tendencies towards flying off the handle or whatnot. 1,200 pounds, sorry. I don't know how heavy a horse is.
Yeah, 1,200's
Yeah,
about right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And you can't look at dogs and horses and say, "Oh, I was raped as a child, so you better treat me differently." Are you
right?
No. They don't fucking know that. They can't articulate that. You have to be the human. You have to be the literal superior being.
Well, that's just it, because a dog can't, or a horse for that matter, can't rationalize your behavior.
Yeah.
A dog looks at you as another dog, a really goofy looking weird dog on two legs. So it doesn't view you as being, it might view you as a leader of the pack, but it doesn't view you as being, what's that, sorry?
Horses too.
Yeah, I would imagine horses are the same.
Yeah.
My experiences with dogs, so.
You can't expect horses and dogs to learn your language and your emotions because they are lesser. Right? They don't have the prefrontal cortex we have. You can't teach them with words. So you have to learn their language and relate to them. And that actually gives you an opportunity to access your own deeper brain behind your prefrontal cortex so that you can have like an instinctual kind of more physical, without words, less articulate language. And you learn, you picked up your cat, you know what your cat wants. Your cat doesn't speak to you in words. Your Kenzie doesn't speak to you in words, but you know what they need because they tell you, and you learned their language. And that's your responsibility. Because they can't. They don't have the prefrontal cortex. They can't learn your language, so you have to learn theirs.
It's true. Makes sense. Oh, sorry, my hair. My hair looks ridiculous.
Yeah, your hair is fucking bad today.
Oh, well, I'm wearing a hat. That's why.
No, you always wear hats. Your hair is bad today.
Okay, you got me. I didn't have a shower today, all right? Like I said, I'm a slob. Because I have no force of will.
But no hiccups, so...
Yeah, my hiccups are gone. I had the hiccups pretty bad. And Irving cured them.
I can't believe it worked.
Pretty amazing. I'm sorry you came to the chat so late, C-Mac. I'm just about to end it because we're coming up on 3 hours now. And
pushing 3? Oh, shit.
Yeah, we're 2:40. Remember, we were about to stop this about an hour ago. And then you got a couple more drinks in you and we got all deep and heavy, which is cool. That was a great conversation.
No, but we're going to have a proper spiritual stream.
That would be cool.
Atheist versus fucking retard.
Is that what we're going to call it? Irving Twins Deep AF atheist versus effing
Oh,
retard.
Jesus Christ. There are no people that regard my beliefs as a religion. Like, oh, yeah, no, you have to go to 4chan on the paranormal boards to find what I believe. It's so stupid.
You're a cultural Christian who embraces the narrative a little bit more than say I would. I kind of embrace the narrative of Christianity on a what's the word? On a cultural level, you embrace it more on a personal level. How about that?
No, it's so stupid. I was an atheist in high school because I went to Catholic school, so obviously I became an atheist. You can't go to Catholic school and not become an atheist unless you're a fucking normie or a retard. And then I refound my faith based on a whole lot of weird shit, including David Wood.
Just talking about that angel.
I have that. That will be running in the corner while we have this.
The Bible is actually horrifying. Yeah, I guess some of the imagery evoked in the Bible is pretty out there.
You know what's funny? People talk about the Bible as horrifying. Oh, the end of days. Oh, all these things that happen is terrible. Also, nothing's wrong with chopping the tits off 14-year-old girls and the dicks off of 12-year-old boys, and we're just gonna go ahead and move forward with our progressive vision of the world. No. Your religion, that's bad.
Yeah. This is the thing. Another part of. Remember I was telling you about that discussion I had with my friend while we were on vacation in Antigua? Saying secular humanism, yada, yada, yada. And I started talking about, I mentioned, nobody can define what a woman is anymore. This is the result of secular humanism. He's like, so I don't know why you're so upset about trans people. Like, why does it bother you? And I'm like, it bothers me because I live in reality. And I got to negotiate my life based on reality. And if you got a segment of the population telling me that up is down and reality is subjective, how am I ever supposed to exist in a world like that? And she said, yeah, but trans people who, the whole gender dysmorphia thing has been around just in different names for thousands of years. I'm like, yeah, you're right. When did we see a rise in it when we look back thousands of years? At the end of civilization, when people started to abandon their morals and abandon their principles and abandon their cultural, foundations, that's when people started playing with definitions about reality, and that's when their cultures collapsed. So what does that tell you about where we are right now? Sorry, I just went off on a completely different tangent, but anyway.
Not at all. No, you're in line with everything that, and this will be a great discussion later. No, it's not at all like LASIK surgery.
That's funny. I'm getting LASIK surgery tomorrow. I don't know if you heard that part of this stream, but yeah, tomorrow I'm going for LASIK surgery. So that's pretty cool.
No, it's not at all like LASIK surgery.
It's not like LASIK surgery.
No.
If by LASIK surgery means they use a laser to cut a little flap on the end of your dick, and then they cure your dick, and then when you come out, you got a better dick. That's LASIK surgery of the genitals.
Look.
She says, it bothers me because now I can't date anyone without wondering what freaking gender they actually are. LOL. But gender's a spectrum. It doesn't matter. As long as because love is love is love. It bothers me because I tried to make friends and a chick and her husband both tried to sleep with me. LOL. Oh, that sounds like a story to tell.
That sounds like a letter to Penthouse, and
everything is messed up. Everything is messed up now. That's why we're on the verge of the collapse of Western civilization. and it's being hurried along by those who think they know better. It matters. It absolutely matters. You're absolutely right. Have you seen What Is a Woman yet, Irving? Did you watch that?
I haven't.
You should
I
watch it.
didn't have to. I'm already on that page.
No, but it's worth watching anyway.
I will. Yeah. I'll look into it. But I mean,
You know what you need, Irving? To sort of soften your black pill, turn it into a gray pill.
what's that?
You need a woman.
I had one of them. Didn't work out.
All right, well then you need a man.
I have you. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, but our relationship's completely platonic. Oh. Well, folks, and by folks I mean Costin, C-Mac, Irving, and myself. I think it's time to call it a night. It's coming up on 3 hours, which is a nice, decent length of a stream. Shout out again to my friend James, who was in the stream earlier tonight. I know your surgery is going to go well, buddy. I know you're in bed now and sleeping, but another well wish for you for your surgery on Monday, and wish me luck on getting my cool eye powers tomorrow. They're going to give me the X-ray vision and laser beams. It's going to be pretty cool. Night, Costin. He needs Blair White. That's who you need. You need Blair White.
We all do.
We all need Blair White. Good luck under the knife, says C-Mac. Thanks very much. And with that, I think we're going to call it a night, folks. Thanks very much for tuning in. If you're not unfamiliar with our work, you can watch some of my my stream of consciousness videos in the car on this channel. You can watch some of Irving's back catalog on his channel. I didn't link it in the description, but if you just look up Irving Twin on YouTube, you'll find him. You can follow me on Twitter at RealCragBrag. You can follow Canada Man at RealCanada_man on Twitter.
Yep.
And we hope to see you all again. Next stream will be over on Irving's channel. I'm guessing next week, right, Irving?
Yes.
Next week on Irving Twin's channel, it'll be the Casual AF live stream,
That's
or maybe it'll be
Christmas
deep.
Eve.
What's
so
that?
I hope you commit.
Well, I have no reason why I wouldn't.
Fucking atheists.
Wow, hardcore. All right, Laser Eye sponsored by Pfizer, says C-Mac. That'd be cool. Anyway, all right. Good night, folks. It's been a great stream. Good to see y'all. Anything you want to say there?
Hail Sigmar.
I thought it was for Kislev.
For Orson, for Kislev. Yeah, no, I love them both. Great tribe.
All right. Good night, folks.
Good night.